You're in Konoha, and you call these ninja tools? This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 526, Physical Madman. Hiss. All the men took a breath of cold air. No one thought that Kai would use such a dirty trick in the end. Good boy, you can even tell the male and female of the bear. You have good eyes. Tianyu couldn't help but smug, and then he returned to his usual appearance. The Bear King also fell to the ground because of the piercing pain and couldn't move at all. Finally, Kakashi stepped forward and took the Bear King's head directly. Kai, you are good. How did you tell the male and female of this bear? Everyone also looked at my guy with curiosity. After all, in this weather, the bears are covered with thick fat. Now that they can tell the male and female, it can be seen that my guy should know some details. Actually I don't know, I just feel that it's okay, so I subconsciously kick it. My guy scratched his head stupidly, and then he touched the 8 gates, and the whole person collapsed to the ground. How about it? Or we take this lucky guy back. Namake's Minato's expression has become very complicated. Such a powerful bear, who would have thought that he would lose to his feelings in the end? Not yet. This kid Kai's injuries and side effects are not serious this time. He can serve as a combat force. Tianyu directly stopped Namake's Minato's request to take my guy away, and continued to hide in the dark to observe. Really harsh. Namake's Minato glanced at Tianyu's cold face, and couldn't help muttering in his heart. After all, the apprentice has been injured like this, and he doesn't even plan to let him retreat. Do you think I'm a bit too much? Tianyu saw the expression of Namake's Minato looking at him in the image of the scout mouse breaking in, and asked a question out of the blue. No, I just feel that Kai is already like this, he should rest. Although Namake's Minato did not admit it, he still pointed out Tianyu's mistake. And Tianyu still shook his head firmly. You saw that, what happened just now was only the middle of the secret technique. There are still a few doors to be opened. If he can't even bear this little pain, do you think he can become stronger? If a person's strength is not enough, I think it will be much more painful than being injured, don't you think, genius? Tianyu's cold words stirred up 1,000 layers of waves in Minato Namake's heart. Originally, in his impression, training students is training, and there is no need for so-called fighting. He thinks that those villages that sent their children to the battlefield are all wrong. Then according to what you said, do those small villages that were destroyed by us do the right thing? Minato Namake decided to stick to his beliefs and asked directly. Oh, are you talking about those? That's just feudal corruption. What I want is hard work, not stupid death. Tianyu showed a disdainful expression to the other villages in Minato Namake's door. What he did was called training, and the other villages were just inheriting their own traditions. Tianyu's words also made Minato Namake fall into contemplation again. He looked at the teenager in front of him. Why did he learn so much from him? Okay, these things can't be explained clearly in a short time, let's keep going. Tianyu interrupted Minato Namake's thoughts and continued to move forward with the children. At this time, Kakashi was carrying my guy on his back. As for my guy's sandbags, the whole team was miserable. Originally, they planned to throw them away, but then they thought that there was no way to explain. In the end, everyone could only come up with a solution. That is, everyone carries a little, and girls carry less. Isn't it just a sandbag? Kakashi, wait a minute, if it doesn't work for a while, I will help you solve it. Obito saw that it was time for him to show his talent, so he quickly picked up the sandbag on the ground. Woo! Obito used all his strength, but he only picked up a piece of iron on the ground. What is the weight of this? Obito felt blushing now, because he couldn't carry these things on his back at all. Even this piece made him a little inconvenient to move. If he carried all of them on his back, he might be crushed to death. What kind of monster is this? At this time, Obito's expression changed when he looked at my guy. He originally thought that he was just a fool who was exercising. After all, it was already the era of ninjas. Those who still practiced these crooked ways were not on the mainstream at all. Who knew that he would be slapped in the face now? This was simply a physical training madman. Carrying so many things all day, wouldn't he feel that life was inconvenient? Obito, don't be so stubborn. I'll carry some of them. It's okay. It's also a form of exercise. Nahorin also saw Obito's embarrassment and quickly stepped forward to help Obito out. And Obito also cast a grateful look at Nahorin. If Rin hadn't said that just now, it would be good if he didn't get laughed at. In this way, everyone carried some of the weights on their backs, which also slowed down the movement speed of the entire team a lot. What a lunatic, are you going to die? Kuratsuchi now has a 50 gin sandbag in his backpack. Although it is a bit heavy, it does not affect him much. As for Kakashi, he is a little embarrassed. After all, there is a might guy on his back, and he has more experience, so he puts the most weight on himself. Kakashi, why don't you give me some? I can still carry it. At this time, Nahorin saw sweat on Kakashi's masked face. This also made Nahorin feel heartbroken and wanted to go up to help. Rin, look, Kakashi wants to take so many things by himself, you should not help. Obito is very happy now. He is very happy to see Kakashi's frustrated look. Obito. At this time, Nahorin was also a little angry. Kakashi carried these things for us. Why did it become so unbearable in Obito's mouth now? Okay, I can still hold on. Let's keep going and try to reach our destination as quickly as possible. Kakashi interrupted the quarrel between the two, lifted Might Guy up on his back, and continued to move forward. Nahorin looked at Obito coldly, and then ran over. Really, you are so stubborn, I want to see how long you can hold on, he. Obito gloated at Kakashi who was struggling, and then he was afraid of being left behind, so he quickly chased after him. Chapter 527 Crisis arrives. Not good. Just when everyone relaxed their vigilance and continued to move forward, Tianyu's eyes in the dark changed, and he quickly appeared in the direction of the team a few hundred meters away. Sir Tianyu, what happened? Why do you seem a little worried? Namake's Minato did not expect Tianyu to have such a big reaction. It should be that Tianyu's special ability sensed something. Something happened. I didn't expect the wreckage to come so quickly. Find a way to stop him. Tianyu's face also became very bad. I wanted to watch the show from the back, but who knew the two figures had already flown over quickly in the distance. Everyone be alert, find shelter quickly. Namake's Minato also saw the figures getting bigger and bigger in the distance at this time, and hurriedly turned around and shouted to the students. What happened? Why are all the teachers going up? Nahorin saw the two in front, and immediately felt what happened. Two strong men flew over from there, but the speed was too fast, and I couldn't see their faces clearly. Yuhikirani looked at the sky in the distance and saw the impact that others did not notice. No one would listen to what Yuhikirani said, after all. Tianyu and the other two were already in front. If they could attack at the same time, Tianyu would not move except for the strong, right? According to Minato teacher, find a shelter quickly, quick. Kakashi quickly found a cave with Might Guy on his back and hid there. When the others saw Kakashi found a place, they also quickly found some shelters to cover the cave. In the end, only a few small holes were left to let them see what was happening outside. Haha. Aben heard that you have the strongest attack and defense means in the world. But your combat power is just average, you can't even resist my dust release. Inoki used dust release to shoot at the third Raikage, and laughed at the figure of the great Raikage who kept fleeing. Haha, old man, you are also old, I didn't expect the reaction to the attack to be reduced. The third Raikage was not to be outdone at this time, mocking while dodging Inoki's attack. Although his body is known as the strongest defense in the world. But the third Raikage himself is still very clear about this matter. Even if the defense is strong, the other party's dust release can directly change the plasma of the object. It does not give him any chance to defend, and can turn his body into the dust of this world. So the third Raikage did not dare to delay and directly avoided Inoki's attack. And Inoki saw that the third Raikage did not fall into his trap, and could only sigh helplessly. What an old fox, you can't let you fight me head on even in this way. As he said, Inoki's figure floating in the sky also lowered a little. AI, you also saw that neither of us can beat the other, otherwise let's stop here, and I won't pursue you anymore. Inoki is now just like what the third Raikage said, he is old. He can't continue this high-intensity battle at all. If the third Raikage can really give up this plan, Inoki will not say anything, and will just turn around and leave. Haha, old man, do you think I don't know that you have reached your limit? You must die here today. The third Raikage did not give Inoki any chance at all. Because if the plan succeeded this time, he would have a chance to rule the ninja world, so how could he give up? Haha, if you insist on doing this, then neither of us wants to live a bad life today. Inoki didn't want to say anything more to the third Raikage, and some white powder appeared beside him. How is it possible? You are already this age, why can your strength still improve? The third Raikage couldn't help but lose his voice and couldn't believe his eyes. I thought that Inoki was already this age, and he should be the easiest to defeat among the 4 villages. If I had known that Inoki's current strength was not only stronger than when he was young, he would have turned around and went to the Sands village a long time ago. After all, the Kazakage was not very strong, and he had a way to defeat him. Haha, it's too late to regret now, I want to see how strong you are. Inoki said, and was about to wrestle with the third Raikage. Who knew that at this time, a lazy voice reached the ears of the two. You guys are such a jerk. Can't you find a good place to fight? Let me put it this way. I'm training with my disciples, so please go fight somewhere else. Just as the 2 cages were wondering who they were, Tianyu's young face appeared in their field of vision. Boy, don't you know who we are? Why are you talking to us like this? Although the 2 cages were fighting at this time, such an arrogant boy suddenly appeared. The 2 people stopped their actions unhappily. Oh? The third Raikage, the old immortal Inoki? How could I not know their names? But you also know how hard it is to take care of a child now, so please leave. Tianyu didn't care about the identities of these 2 people at all. Because no matter how many ants there are, they are still ants after all. Oh my god, your master is too arrogant. No matter how powerful he is, he can't provoke 2 cages. At this time, Obito, who was hiding in the cave, saw this scene and couldn't help but say that the face of Yuhi Kirine, who was asked, was a little strange. How could the master be so reckless that he would provoke 2 cages instead of dealing with them one by one? As someone who knows more about Tenayu's battle, Yuhi Kirine is very familiar with Tenayu's character. Although he is arrogant, he never does anything that he is not sure of. And now that the master can go up and provoke the 2 cages, it means that he should have the trick to win. Okay, don't make any noise. If we are discovered, we don't have the capital of Tenayu teacher. Kakashi said impatiently at this time. If they are discovered now, they will not be a match for these 2 cage-level bosses. Got it. Isn't it just not talking? I am also very quiet, okay? Obito pouted, indicating that he is very depressed now. However, he is not a person who makes trouble, and he also understands what situation they are in now, so he stopped talking. Everyone hid in the cave and looked at the 3 figures in the distance in fear. It is unknown whether the 2 cages will directly suppress Tenayu after hearing Tenayu's provocation. Chapter 528, Still Strong in Age. Boy, who are you? At this time, the Raikage wanted to make a move, but Inoki came to Shinayu first. After all, there are still many powerful people in the ninja world. Shinayu is the descendant of a certain inheritance. Although they are not afraid of the shadows, it will be very troublesome to kill him. Konoha Shinayu, just a little ninja. Shinayu burst out his name without hesitation, which also surprised Inoki. Aren't you the descendant of an ancient inheritance? Originally, Inoki saw Shinayu's arrogant look and was sure that this guy was the descendant of someone. Who knew that in the end this guy actually said that he was from Konoha village. And there are very few people in Konoha village with a single surname. In addition to the single surname Gon, it seems that there are no people except the weapon shop in Konoha village, right? But how could a weapon shop have any strong people? Of course not, my family is just an ordinary family, but do you 2 want to leave? Shinayu was also a little impatient with the question, and looked at the 2 irritably. Haha, you are so arrogant. I thought you were someone important and wanted to spare your life. Since you are just a kid who doesn't know what's good for you, I will kill you first today, and then kill this old man. The 3rd generation Raikage laughed, and a fistful of lightning blasted towards Shinayu's head. And Inoki narrowed his eyes and didn't want to pay attention. After all, this stinky boy just scolded him, and he couldn't bear this anger. Swish! With a light wind sound, the fist of the Raikage that was close to Shinayu's face disappeared together with the Raikage. The next moment, the Raikage appeared in his original position, with a look of horror on his face. What happened just now? Why didn't he feel any reaction at all? You 2, Konoha Namokaze Minato greets you 2 adults. At this time, Namokaze Minato appeared beside Shinayu and raised his hand gently. But even if he said hello, Namokaze Minato's waist did not bend at all, and he looked at the 2 with cold eyes. Oh? Golden Flash? No wonder this kid is so arrogant. It turns out you're backing him up. The third Raikage rubbed his fist, which was aching from forcibly stopping the attack. Haha, third Raikage, don't say that. After all, I'm afraid of Lord Aim's fighting power. Minato Namikaze said as he looked at the third Raikage. What? After hearing what Minato Namikaze said, there was no sign of joking on Minato Namikaze's face. The two looked at the young man not far away again with seriousness. After all, looking at the young man's appearance, he was only about 15 or 16 years old. Why would Minato Namikaze say that he was no match for Aim? Haha, brother Minato is a joker, don't dwell on this matter anymore. Aim laughed and interrupted Minato Namikaze's words. Then his signature smile appeared on his face. I don't know how you two feel now. I think we should leave quickly, it doesn't matter how you fight. After Aim finished speaking, Hyorinru appeared in his hand without mercy. He didn't dare to drag it out. After all, they were two cages, and their strength was at its peak. Haha, old man, look at how Konoha village looks down on our two villages. How about we join forces? The third Raikage couldn't stand the arrogant character of Tianyu. He was a respected cage wherever he went. But when he came to Tianyu, why did he feel like an ant? AI, you've already said that, so what if we join forces? Wait until the two of us solve them, and then solve our own problems. At this time, Inoki's face was also very ugly, especially the red nose became even redder. After Tianyu saw the big one, he was afraid that his nose would bleed soon. How shameless, they actually joined forces to deal with the teachers. What a group of shameless guys. At this time, Yuhikirani saw the appearance of the two and clenched her fists fiercely. I didn't expect the two to be so shameless. They were enemies just now, but now they joined forces to deal with the master. Even the biggest traitor here, Obito, was a little angry, clenching his fists and looking at the four people in the distance. Although he hated Shianayu very much, he still hoped that Shianayu could win this battle. Let these guys see that the ninjas of Konoha are not made of clay. Pa. 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 Shianayu laughed and clapped his hands, looking at the two shadows in front of him with admiration. It's wonderful. You have really studied the shameless technology thoroughly. I admire you. Shianayu said while throwing a backpack to Minato Namikaze. These are for you. Study their uses yourself. We too naturally can't let the two adults down. As Shianayu said this, a dark aura appeared around him in an instant, and he looked at the third generation Raikage with a heartless look. He didn't say anything, but stretched out a finger and slowly hooked it at the third generation Raikage. Don't be too arrogant, kid. The third generation Raikage roared, and then rushed towards Shianayu. Shianayu could only shake his head helplessly and dodged the charge of the third generation Raikage by turning sideways. Let me introduce myself again, Konoha Tenyu. It's my honor to fight the third Raikage. This time Tenyu's modesty startled the Raikage, who wondered if this kid had transformed. Even Inoki was stunned for a moment, and Minato Namikaze found his flaw and kicked him down from the air. Damn, you kid don't follow martial ethics. Inoki was also kicked hard by this kick, and it took him a long time to react and stabilize his body again. Haha, you want to split yourself after fighting with me, you deserve it. Minato Namikaze sneered, and then wanted to continue kicking this old guy. Atomic peeling technique. Inoki quickly put his arm on his chest, and a milky white transparent box appeared in his hand. Not good. Minato Namikaze's face also changed, and he quickly stabilized his body and disappeared in the air in an instant. The next moment, where Minato Namikaze originally stayed, a huge rectangle penetrated the entire forest. A path was directly opened up in the forest on the ground. Oh, it's really not easy. A good gardener, it would be a pity if he didn't do engineering work. After seeing the movement below, Shianayu couldn't help but speak out what he was thinking. Chapter 529, The Infected Minato Namikaze. Ha ha ha, good boy, you finally said something I'll like to hear, not bad, not bad. The third Raikage, who was about to launch a sneak attack, couldn't help laughing after hearing what Shianayu blurted out. It was really great, he had this feeling a long time ago. Laugh at your sister, you can't be a gardener yet, you waste. After hearing the third Raikage's laughter, Shianayu didn't show any mercy at all and cursed directly. Your sister. The third Raikage was furious when he heard that he was being scolded, and slowly retracted a finger on his palm. 4 fingers stabbed towards Shianayu's abdomen. Alice, are you wrong mama? You want to stab me every day, And this is all you have? Tianyu said, grabbing the third Raikage's arm, and with his other hand, he elbowed the third Raikage and knocked him to the ground. How is it possible? At this time, the third Raikage had only this thought in his mind. Although he didn't feel anything when the attack just hit him, how did Tianyu take his attack? Oh yeah. I told you that the teacher's fighting power would never lose. When Yukikirani saw Tianyu knocking the third Raikage to the ground, she couldn't help but jump up. Even the eyes of the others were full of laughter. This is the fate of looking down on Konoha, now you know it, right? Boy, I admit that you are very strong. I decided to be serious. The third Raikage got up from the ground, and there was a faint arc of electricity on his body. Okay, I take back what I said just now. Tianyu didn't know why, and he distanced himself from the third Raikage, and seemed to be thinking about something in his heart. Haha, you are sensible, but I may spare you. The third Raikage saw Tianyu's thoughtful look and couldn't help laughing, thinking that Tianyu was scared by his appearance. Enchi, I take back what I said, you are not a waste, because you are suitable for charging. Tianyu's words almost made the third Raikage choke to death. He widened his eyes and couldn't believe what Tianyu said. Boy, you are looking for death. The third Raikage roared, and the air around him creaked the surrounding trees. Puff, this guy, he still likes to make trouble. Namake's Minato couldn't help laughing, and at this time he easily dodged Inoki's atomic stripping technique. Old man, use your ability quickly, are you too useless? Seeing that Tianyu had already performed so well, Namake's Minato always felt that he should not fall behind, so he also mocked. Humph, it seems that you Konoha village are just a bunch of guys who are good at talking. Then let me show you my strength. Inoki snorted coldly, and then shot out an atomic stripping technique. This made Namake's Minato dodge quickly, and his mouth was not idle. Is this all you have? It's really not good. As a Kage, how can you not even beat a villager? But who is Inoki? After all, he is the oldest Kage. He will not be affected or stimulated by these words. Otherwise, getting angry will affect his lifespan. If I didn't have some psychological endurance, I might have been pissed off to death by the younger generation in the village. When did Minato teacher become like this? Naharlin saw Minato Namake's, who was full of ridicule and didn't take Inoki seriously at all. Everyone couldn't help but smile helplessly. It's really contagious. It's already very helpless to have a Tianyu. I didn't expect that even Minato teacher has become like this now. Okay, who cares what the teacher looks like, as long as we win, we'll be safe. Although Kakashi said this, his eyes were also very helpless. How did Minato teacher become like this? At this time, Minato Namake's was dodging the atomic stripping technique. Just when he looked up, he found that Inoki, who was originally in the original place, had disappeared. It seems that this old man is still a little capable, so be careful. Minato Namake's also knew that if he could reach the highest position in a village, how could he not have some tricks in his hands? Sure enough, just when Minato Namake's was stunned, a stone man under his feet grabbed him directly in his hand. Gory-style technique. Inoki, who had disappeared in the air, also appeared in the woods. It was obvious that this stone man was summoned by her. Interesting. Namake's Minato laughed loudly, and then used Flying Thunder God to disappear in the hands of the stone man. And Inoki did not show any expression. He had heard of Namake's Minato's ninjutsu. Namake's Minato's ability was naturally very famous. So he knew that he could not defeat this guy, and this move was just to test this guy's true strength. Old man, good, I didn't expect you to have such fighting power. Namake's Minato appeared next to Inoki with a somewhat disordered breath. He also paid a price for the Flying Thunder God just now. I thought there would be no big problem when I got out, but who knew that this old immortal actually set up an atomic peeling technique in the distance. Just when he appeared, the atomic peeling technique was activated instantly. If it weren't for his timely reaction, he might have been completely dead. Haha, same here, since you're still talking, then go ahead, I want to see what you can do. Although Inoki said this, he still looked at Minato Namake's with a taboo face. Originally, if he was fighting against a brute force ninja of the third Raikage, his ability could be said to be a nemesis. But if he was fighting against a ninja known for his strength like Minato Namake's, he might really lose. AI, you quickly deal with that kid, I can't beat the Flash here, you come to help me later. Inoki no longer wanted to be proud of the shadow, and staying alive was the most important thing. After hearing this, the third Raikage who was fighting against Watayu nodded, and then looked coldly at Tianyu who was at ease in front of him. Boy, I admit that your physical skills are very strong, and your physical skills should be a physical skill branched from the 8 gates of ninjutsu, right? To be able to change the 8 gates of ninjutsu into this, it should be all your strength, so I can only ask you to go. The third Raikage felt that this black aura was the peak strength of Tianyu. So he thought he had a way to win against Tianyu, and looked at Tianyu with a sinister look. Haha, since you want to try it, I want to see what Master Raikage can do. Tianyu smiled and took a fighting stance. Chapter 530. Okay, look at your strength, it's worth my strongest power. The third Raikage laughed, and then the chakra armor on his body became stronger and stronger. The strongest lightning armor. Then the third Raikage's hair fluttered, and his strength was at least several times stronger than before. Is this the legendary strongest armor? It's really shocking. Tianyu didn't think of beating the opponent at all. This kind of aura and defense is already similar to my guy with 7 gates of the 8 gates of ninjutsu fully opened. Even if it was me, it would not be easy to win the Raikage without revealing my trump card. Boy, next is my home court. Then the third Raikage's fingers slowly retracted again. Hell thrust. 3-finger penetration. Just like that, the aura of the third Raikage rose to a higher level again. At this time, the clothes on Tianyu's body began to slowly dissipate, and a set of armor was draped on Tianyu's body. Geely Battle Armor. This is a new ninja tool blueprint given to Tianyu by the system. Tianyu only knows that the data of this thing is terrifyingly powerful. But even Tianyu himself was a little unsure whether he could resist the finger of the Raikage. Oh? Good boy, you are full of murderous aura. It seems that you are not a good person either. The third generation Raikage looked at Tianyu with admiration. If Tianyu had not provoked him just now, it would not be impossible to accept her as a disciple. After so many years, the third generation Raikage also wanted to accept a disciple. But the only person in the world who could fight against him was Tsunade from Konoha village. The terrifying physicality of that kind of person made even him want to accept her as a disciple. Unfortunately, Konoha village would never give him the Thousand Hands Princess. In addition, due to the relationship between Kumagakure and Konoha, the third generation Raikage could only give up this idea. Hyorinmaru, release. At this time, the Hyorinmaru in Tianyu's hand began to change. On the back of Tianyu's Geely armor, which was originally full of murderous aura, a pair of ice wings appeared. Tianyu's face was also covered with cold air, making people feel extremely cold. Third Raikage, it's been a long time since anyone has taken me seriously. I hope you can live up to my combat power release, otherwise I will destroy your entire Kumagakure village. Tianyu said, holding the ice ring pill in front of the third Raikage. At this time, a faint chill appeared on the ice ring pill, which made everyone shudder. Ice Dragon Tail. Then an ice dragon appeared out of nowhere and rushed straight to the third Raikage. A strong seal aura also made the third Raikage feel taboo, and he quickly distanced himself from the ice dragon. Fortunately, this ice dragon seemed to have no intelligence, and it stopped moving after falling to the ground. Haha, you are still a child? Do you think you can defeat me with this kind of attack? The third Raikage laughed, and then black lightning began to emanate from his body. This is Black Thunder, an ninjutsu created by the third Raikage himself, and it is also a rare existence among the lightning ninjutsu. Haha, watch it. Tianyu sneered, and then his hands slowly began to form seals, and then a beam of light fell on the ice dragon. Zekken. At this time, the ice dragon's eyes seemed to have come to its senses. It roared and then shot countless ice knives at the third generation of Raikage. Fortunately, the third generation of Raikage is also a famous speed ninja. Although not as amazing as Tianyu and Namake's Minato, it is also very fast. However, because he thinks that strength is supreme, he rarely uses speed. Interesting, it's really interesting, haha. The third generation of Raikage laughed, and his fingers slowly became thinner, and the 3 fingers looked particularly bright. Look at me. The third generation of Raikage shouted, and then 3 fingers were inserted into the ice dragon's eyes. Roar. The ice dragon roared, looked at the third generation of Raikage unwillingly, and then turned into fragments all over the sky. Sure enough, this attack is still useless to you. The wings behind Tianyu slowly flapped, allowing him to stand in the sky. In that case, let me show you this move. Tianyu smiled helplessly, and then raised the high Orinru again, wanting to try another move. Haha, kid, I admit that you are really very strong, even I am not as strong as you. The third Raikage sneered, but quickly rushed towards Tianyu. But you should also know that it takes time to activate ninjutsu, and I won't give you this time. Then the third Raikage appeared in front of Tianyu in an instant with a blessing of lightning. This time, 3 fingers finally pierced into Tianyu's abdomen smoothly. Master Yuhi, who was far away in the cave, saw that Tianyu was injured and shouted subconsciously. Then he wanted to rush out. Fortunately, Kakashi, who was still calm, grabbed his arm. Kun, you have to believe in the strength of Tianyu teacher. This little injury should be nothing to Tianyu teacher. Although Kakashi said so, his eyes had already betrayed him. A ninja suffered such a degree of injury. Even if there is no danger to life, there will be a lot of loss in combat power. Haha, do you really think I'm stupid? Let me go, I want to find my master. Yuhi looked at Kakashi coldly, and a lotus appeared in her pupils. Then Kakashi was inexplicably stunned, and his last thought was only one idea. Why? Because he had been tricked by Yuhi once before. So he was very wary of Yuhi ability, and deliberately turned on his mental power. As long as he felt the illusion, he felt like running away, leaving Yuhi with no way out. Who knew that even with his whole body on guard, he was easily subdued by Yuhi? What a waste. Before Yuhi left, she did not forget to glance at Kakashi coldly, and was about to walk out. Who knew that at this moment, Yuhi felt that her eyes went black, and then she fell into Naholin's arms. And the one who took action at this time was Might Guy, who was still in a coma just now. I'm sorry, junior sister, don't disturb the master's power is not what we can imagine. As the strongest supporter of Tianyu, Might Guy knows Tianyu very well. How could the master not dodge the attack just now? There must be something hidden. Sure enough, the third Raikage in the air looked at Tianyu in front of him and his face turned very bad. Substitution jutsu. The third Raikage wondered in his heart. But it's impossible, how could he not feel the substitution jutsu? The third Raikage suddenly felt that his worldview collapsed. Chapter 531 Survival Principles. The Remnant Ice Figure. Tianyu appeared from nowhere, and his eyes slowly opened. At this time, Tianyu's dark hair began to turn a little white. What you did just now was not a substitute technique, right? How did you do it? The face of the third Raikage was very ugly. It was impossible that it was an ordinary substitute technique, otherwise he would not be confused. The person standing in front of him just now must be Tianyu himself. That's right, but your strength is still not enough. If you are fast enough, you should be able to stop me. Tianyu smiled, and then waved the ice wheel pill in his hand, and dozens of ice pillars appeared around the third Raikage. 1,000-year ice prison. Then the ice pillars quickly connected with each other, wrapping the third Raikage in it. You should rest here. After I deal with that old immortal, I will deal with you. Tianyu smiled. He was still very confident in the 1,000-year ice prison. It would take a while for a small third Raikage to break the ice prison. Brother Minato, let's join forces and see what this guy is like. Tianyu appeared beside Minato Namikaze, who was fighting with Inoki with a smile, and waved high Orinru without looking back. He directly rushed away the oncoming atomic stripping technique. That? Originally, Minato Namikaze wanted to remind Tianyu to be careful, but seeing Tianyu's relaxed look, he swallowed the words that weren't already on his lips. Boy? Where is AI? Why are you here? When Inoki saw Tianyu coming alone, his face became very scary. If the third Raikage didn't come now, it means 2 possibilities. One is that the third Raikage was defeated and is now running away, or he has been killed. Oh, that guy has just been sealed, he should not be able to come out yet, let's play with the 3 of us first. Tianyu said while taking off the Jiuli armor on his body. Although the defense of this thing is really terrible, it doesn't seem to conform to the principle of activity. It is very troublesome to move, so let's put it away. This rubbish, really. Inoki heard what Tianyu said, followed Tianyu's eyes, and saw the huge ice prison not far away. The groaning of the third Raikage could still be faintly seen. At this time, the third Raikage was trying his best to smash the cell in front of him, but only cracks appeared. From this point of view, if you want to smash this cell, it will take at least 10 minutes. These 10 minutes may not seem long, But it is enough for the two young men in front of you to kill you a few times, right? Young men, how about we talk it out? At this time, Inoki saw the two young men in front of him, and his heart was also very emotional. This time has really changed. The two shadows were beaten by two juniors and couldn't take care of themselves. It seems that this world is really not their era. Haha, what were you thinking just now? If I don't beat you down today, wouldn't my golden flash be in vain? Namake's Minato sneered, and then dozens of kunai appeared in his hands and threw them to various places. Oh my god, when did you become so frivolous? Tianyu was obviously shocked by Minato Namake's words. He didn't expect Minato Namake to say such a thing. Everyone looked at Tianyu coldly at this time. How dare you say that to others? If it weren't for the fact that they had been with you for too long, how could their good teacher become like this? Haha, good boy, you are really good boys. Good, good, good. Inoki didn't know how many good words he said, and then he looked at Tianyu angrily, and a stone giant appeared behind him. The stone giant punched Tianyu, and Inoki also appeared behind the stone at this time. He put his hand on the giant. Intensified rock technique. Then Tianyu clearly felt that the stone's fist had a few more points of strength, and it smashed towards Tianyu. Remnant ice figure. Tianyu waved the ice wheel pill, and then his body appeared not far away. You really don't follow martial ethics. I didn't expect you, an old man, to make a surprise attack. Tianyu said while patting the dust on his body. Is there no limit to your substitution technique? At this time, Inoki's face also became very bad, and he looked at Tianyu cautiously. I thought that when dealing with the third Raikage just now, Tianyu's method was completely restricted. Who knew that this time when I attacked, Tianyu still used this substitution technique without any pressure? Doesn't this person have any weaknesses? Don't compare me with such a low-level thing as substitution technique. My ninjutsu still has shortcomings, but I don't know if you can solve it. Tianyu sneered, and then said nothing more, and glanced at Minato Namake. Minato Namake seemed to know what Tianyu was thinking, nodded, and then activated the mark left on Inoki. Instantly appeared behind Inoki. When was it planted? Inoki's face also changed. He didn't even notice that Minato Namake touched him. And Minato Namake also sneered, and then the kunai slashed at Inoki's neck. Stone clone. Instantly, a clone appeared behind Inoki, helping Inoki to resist this fatal attack. Then Inoki also quickly used the super light rock technique to pull his body up high. They are really two perverts. With these two perverts, AI, that stupid guy, still wants to notify the ninja world, haha. Inoki sneered, then turned around and ran. He has lived to such an old age, and there is only one word in his life motto, hide. He had seen Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. Even Senju Tobirama was not unfamiliar to him. But he never provokes anyone, and even at the critical moment, he has to show a sense of no threat. It is precisely because of these life mottos that Inoki has lived to this day without even being injured. Look at Konoha village again. It has already reached the third Hokage. What if he is strong? Who can live longer than himself? Should we chase him? When Namake's Minato saw Inoki's figure getting farther and farther away, he was about to chase him, but was stopped by Tianyu. Don't waste your time, really, do you really think I'm a fool? Tianyu sneered, and then slowly looked at the ice prison not far away. You old man, you didn't even check your breath when you ran away. You've been fighting for such a long time, and you don't know how to hide your breath. At this time, Inoki, who was standing above the ice prison, was also stunned. Chapter 532, The Two-Person Method. How is it possible? I just concealed all my auras. Inoki also felt a little incredible. After all, he had concealed all his auras, so how did he find his own? Haha, you hid your aura but forgot the aura of the escaping clone. You are really old. Tianyu looked at Inoki with a sneer. This. After hearing what Tianyu said, Inoki finally remembered that he had forgotten to hide the aura of his clone. But the boy in front of him was so meticulous that he even knew such a small matter. Haha, even if you have discovered me, so what? You can't stop me now. Inoki laughed, then glanced at Tianyu coldly, and the atomic stripping technique in his hand was ready. Not good. Namake's Minato was not as calm as Tianyu. If the three Raikages were really released, the two of them would be in trouble. Don't go. Just like what Inoki said, even if you go, you can't stop it now. Tianyu directly stretched out his hand to block Namikaze Minato's way. After all, Inoki in front had already prepared the atom stripping technique in his hand. Even if the two of them knocked Inoki away now, the atom stripping technique would still be activated. Damn it. Minato Namikaze was not a fool, and he naturally saw what Inoki was like now. He could only roar in his heart, but he had no way to deal with it. Inoki laughed, and then combined the atom stripping technique in his hand with the cracks originally created by the third raikage. Crack. After a crisp sound, the third raikage flew out of the ice prison. Good boy, you can actually have such strength, but this is the only achievement you have. The third raikage exuded cold air all over his body. If Inoki didn't get himself out, he would become an ice sculpture. Aren't you afraid that the wind will be strong and your tongue will be flickered? Tianyu sneered, and then the Hyorinru in his hand attacked the two again. And because of the misjudgment just now, Minato Namikaze was really embarrassed, so he didn't want to be outdone. Help me, old man, let's kill these two little guys together. The third raikage didn't dare to say that he could defeat Tianyu 100%. After all, Tianyu's fighting method was really strange, and she had never heard of it. That's why she asked for help from her former enemy. Okay. Inoki agreed to this without hesitation, and then flew to the third raikage's shoulder. Then Inoki reduced the weight of the third raikage and let the two float in the air. At this time, only Namikaze Minato was depressed watching the three people floating in the air. Originally, he thought that his ability was unique, but after seeing the three people, he couldn't help but envy them. The ability to fly, who doesn't want to have it? But if this ability is so easy to obtain, he wouldn't be able to fly. Can you give me some face? If you are floating in the air, how can I fight you? Namikaze Minato was helpless. He wanted to get someone down to fight him. Although he had the mark of Inoki in his hand. But now that the attack has been launched, it would be dangerous to come down by myself, considering the height of the three people. Haha, that makes sense, then let's kill this guy first, and then deal with the golden flash. Inoki was a little afraid that if two people fought against each other, there would still be no advantage. Who knew that now Namikaze Minato would directly solve this matter? You guys. Although Namikaze Minato wanted to resist, he had to give up when he saw the height of the three people in the air. Brother Minato, go protect the children, I will deal with these two old ghosts. Tianyu didn't think much of these two people. Even with Namikaze Minato, it was just a little help. Well, you have to be careful. If it doesn't work, come down and we two will come together. Tianyu glanced at Namikaze Minato, then nodded, and then continued to rise with the two opposite. As for Namikaze Minato, he could only come to the cave helplessly and took a look at the unconscious Yuhi Kurenai. What's going on? Minato Namikaze knew that Kurenai was a disciple that Tenmyo valued. They might have a complicated relationship. Why did she faint inexplicably? When Obito saw Minato Namikaze coming back, he was about to step forward to add fuel to the fire, but was beaten to the punch by Kakashi. Kakashi did not exaggerate the matter, nor did he change it. He just repeated it as it was. You did a great job. Minato Namikaze looked at Might Guy with appreciation. If Kurenai had really run away just now, Tenmyo might not have been so at ease. This is what we should do. Might Guy said calmly, and then continued to pay attention to his master's battle. The others also smiled and continued to observe the battle outside. Only Obito was a little angry after his original plan was implemented. He glared at Kakashi. Then he could only give up this matter temporarily. At this time, Tianyu had already distanced himself from the two shadows, and the speed of waving the ice ring pail in his hand was getting faster and faster. Good guy, it seems that reducing the weight has brought you a qualitative leap. Tianyu was very helpless when he saw the fingers of the third raikage that had already waved out after images. It seems that after the two of them cooperated, they were really perfect. But I am not an ordinary person, how could I watch the two of them so arrogant? Dragon Rain Frame. A faint ice crystal appeared beside Tianyu, and a huge cross ice block appeared in front of him. Tianyu rushed towards the two with a cross ice block. Not good, let's retreat quickly. Inoki originally wanted to use the atomic stripping technique. But because of the huge body of the third raikage, he couldn't turn his head at all, and it was too late. I can't move either, he's too fast. The third raikage also smiled helplessly, and could only activate his strongest armor, trying to resist the dragon shot rack. Super weighted rock technique. Inoki put his hands on the third raikage, and then he felt his body began to fall sharply. Tianyu squinted his eyes and took back the Hyoringu who was about to turn around to chase. Haha, he still has some brains, and he even knows how to use the terrain. Tianyu looked at the villain with interest. He felt that this battle was really getting more and more interesting. I just don't know how long this tacit understanding between the two can last. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 533, A Vague Wish. Boom. Due to the strong inertia, the two people fell directly to the ground. If it weren't for the strong body of the third Reikage, and the terrifying strongest armor on his body, they might have really fallen to death due to the acceleration of their own weight. And Inoki also escaped because he hid on the back of the third Reikage. It's really a bad omen. I almost died. Inoki couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, almost thinking that he was going to see his ancestors just now. Thank you. The third Reikage also thanked Inoki for the first time at this time. After all, if Inoki hadn't reacted in time just now, they might have been hit by Tianyu's blow, and they might not know what their fate would be. Haha, there's still time to chat here. I've been waiting for you to come down. Namake's Minato appeared behind the two of them like a shadow, and Akune slashed at Inoki's neck. Looking for death? Inoki's eyes were full of horror at this time, and the only one who reacted was the third Reikage. He threw a punch at Minato Namake's at his fastest speed, and quickly pulled Inoki away with his other hand. However, the two were still a step slower. Although Inoki dodged the strongest blow, his arm was still cut open with a deep wound that could be seen to the bone. You reacted quickly. I thought I could take one away. Tianyu fell from the sky, as if he was talking about something interesting. Minato Namake's also shook his head helplessly. He didn't expect that the two people would have such a reaction, even in the situation just now. Guys from Konoha, I will kill you. The third Reikage now has a little friendship with Inoki. Now seeing his friend being injured by Minato Namake's, he is also furious, and red chakra appears on his body. Sure enough, something interesting happened. Tianyu laughed, and then quickly retreated with Minato Namake's. How is it possible? Why is the Eight-Tails chakra on you? Inoki's face turned a little ugly. Because among the 5 villages, there has always been an unwritten rule. That is, the Kage cannot become a Jinchuriki by himself. After all, the Kages are equally powerful. So no one said anything. Anyway, these are all fixed inheritances. And now the third Reikage has broken this rule. No wonder the third Reikage was so confident when he confronted himself. Ha ha ha, the boys of Konoha village will die today, I said. The Reikage laughed arrogantly, and then the aura of the Eight-Tails appeared on his body. And Tianyu also came to the cave with Minato Namake's. I was wondering why the third Reikage had to provoke the madman of the Eight-Tails for no reason. It turned out to be because of this reason. Tianyu laughed disdainfully, and he had figured out everything. But now the third Reikage is going crazy, and he still has to find a way to stop it. Brother Minato, if the Eight-Tails makes any move later, we will take the children and run away first. Tianyu specifically reminded Minato Namake's, and then a black aura appeared on his body, ready to escape at any time. If he were alone, things would be easier. But now these children are here. If you don't want some large-scale lethal skills, you should also familiarize yourself with other skills. Namake's Minato nodded, then came behind his 3 students, ready to teleport at any time. Tianyu came to the side of Might Guy and the other 2. He glanced at the unconscious Kurenhyuhi and said nothing. Then he waved his hand, and a black protective shield appeared in front of the 3 people. Tianyu, since you don't come out, then I can only destroy this place. The third Reikage, who had almost become a perfect 8-tailed beast, roared, and then the Eight-Tails wrapped himself up. Sure enough. Tianyu's face changed drastically, nodded to Namake's Minato, and then put his other hand on the protective shield. Namake's Minato held a meeting and quickly disappeared from the spot without any hesitation. The next moment, the old guy, the third Reikage, really spun around, and a terrifying aura came out of his body. Because of the huge body of the 8-tailed beast and the tailed beast ball that appeared from time to time, the nearby woods became a clearing. At this time, Tianyu also raised his hand with a pale face, but the color of the protective shield was unusually solid. "Sir Tianyu, are you okay?" Namikaze Minato felt that the breath here disappeared again, and came to Tianyu's side again. Seeing that Tianyu and others were fine, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. As for the people in Minato's team, it was a bit ugly. Because of the flying thunder god, the faces of the three people became very ugly, and they had to vomit from time to time. This is why Tianyu wanted to stay where he was and didn't take even one apprentice with him. It's not a big problem, but this third generation of Raikage is really good-tempered. Tianyu's smile was like a spring breeze at this time, but those who know Tianyu should know it. When Tianyu shows this kind of smile, the danger may really come. "Brother Minato, you protect the children, I'm a little angry." Tianyu sneered, and then the ice wings behind him fluttered violently, taking Tianyu into the sky. "Alice, now I don't even have the qualifications to participate in the battle." Namikaze Minato was also very helpless and could only stand there and smile bitterly. When was he not a person that everyone feared when he arrived at the battlefield? Now in this mission, the most he could do was to protect the children, which was a blow to him. "Teacher, can we become as powerful as Tianyu?" Nahorin looked at Tianyu's back with a crazy look on her face. After hearing this, Namikaze Minato's face turned a little ugly, and then he squeezed out a smile that was uglier than crying. "Of course, as long as you practice hard, I believe you can reach this level one day." When Namikaze Minato said this, even he himself didn't believe it. After all, he was already this age, and he could barely see Tianyu's back. If Tianyu developed for a while, maybe he wouldn't even be able to see the gray? "Okay, I will practice hard." Nahorin jumped up happily, and then his eyes became more and more respectful when practicing martial arts. The people present looked at this simple and cute girl, and could only cheer for her silently in their hearts. I hope she can fulfill her wish in her lifetime. It's not like he hasn't caught the eight-tailed beast before. Chapter 534, Abandoning the Rook to Save the King. "Haha, you finally came out, Tianyu kid. Let me show you how I will tear you into pieces today." The third Raikage laughed when he saw Tianyu, and then the tail behind him moved around and whipped towards Tianyu. Tianyu dodged flexibly and looked at the third Raikage with a gloomy face. As expected, there is a big difference between the combat power of the tailed beasts and the Jinchuariki. Even the current size of the eight tails is several times that of Killer Bee. The strength of the eight tails now is not something that a small Killer Bee could fight against. "Haha, just a monster relying on external forces, wait for your death." Tianyu looked at him with disdain, then took back the high Orinmaru in his hand, and the black flame appeared on his body again. Swish! With a sound of breaking through the air, Tianyu instantly appeared in front of the eight tails and kicked it. Then the eight tails felt a huge force explode on its head, causing the entire huge body of the eight tails to lie on the ground. "AI, this guy is not simple. I also feel a familiar breath on this guy. Run quickly." At this time, the eight tails also lost its former pride. "After seeing Tianyu, I don't know why I feel scared. Impossible, I must kill this kid, I must." The third Raikage shouted angrily, and then took control of his body in his own hands. I saw the familiar chakra armor appeared on the eight tails. "Oh? I didn't expect that I could still use chakra in this state. It's really amazing." Tianyu smiled helplessly, and then his body instantly distanced himself from the third Raikage. It seems that the third Raikage still has some ways. Tianyu is very impressed by being able to do this. When Tianyu left, countless small balls flowed down on the ground. Because the third Raikage is so huge now, he didn't notice these things. The next moment, the third Raikage was depressed because his body was instantly blown away, and the whole person became confused. What on earth does this kid have? Haha, he really has no vigilance at all, he deserves it. Tianyu laughed loudly, and then came to the body of the eight tails lying on the ground. Very good, it can develop to this point. If it is a little stronger, even the nine tails will not be as strong as it. Tianyu looked around, and at this time the eight tails finger moved, and then turned into one finger. "I can." The eight tails suddenly jumped up, and the angry voice of the third Raikage came out of his mouth. Tianyu's eyes moved, and then the flames beside his body turned blood red. Huh? Tianyu was also surprised. He didn't expect that he could reach the red color after reaching the seventh gate. What if he opened another gate and burned his life? Tianyu naturally didn't want to try this. No one wanted to joke with his own life. Unless it was Kai, The guy who didn't care about life and death. Boom. After a burst of explosions, a burst of smoke burst out around the two of them, making it impossible to see the situation inside. Master. Might Guy's eyes were red. In their opinion, even Tianyu would not be able to remain unscathed under the attack just now. What a pity. Namikaze Minato shook his head. He did not think that Tianyu could defend against the third Raikage's usual move after the tailed beast transformation. Everyone's face became very ugly. Even Inoki on the side looked very ugly. Because he knew that even if they were allies now, it can be seen from the mad look of the third Raikage now that when Konoha village is over, he will not be far away. If I had known earlier, I would have plotted against this kid. Inoki's face also became very bad, and he even wanted to run away. Minato teacher, let's run first. If Tianyu teacher really can't resist, we will be finished too. Abido also wanted to leave quickly now, and hurried to the side of Namikaze Minato who was looking sad. Abido, are you a bastard? Teacher Amaji died for us, and you actually want to escape. Nahorin had already shed tears, and looked at Abido with a sad and angry face. Abido was also very helpless. Is there anything wrong with wanting to survive? Is it necessary to let so many of them be buried with him for a dead person? Okay, although what you said is not wrong, Rin, but what Abido said is not wrong. Let's retreat first, and then take revenge when the time comes. Although Namikaze Minato also hated what Abido said just now. But what Abido said was very correct. If they don't leave now, it will be too late to leave later. They shouldn't cause their entire army to be wiped out for one person. Sorry, the two of us won't leave. Even if we die, we will be with the teacher. At this time, Yuhi Kurenai had already woken up from her coma. Naturally, she also saw everything about Minato's class. The two looked at Namikaze Minato with firm eyes, and then were carried forward by Might Guy. You guys. Although Namikaze Minato wanted to explain, he knew that it was already like this. No matter how much he explained, it would be useless. I'm sorry, I have to take you away. Namikaze Minato said, and appeared in front of the two, with his hands already in front of them. He was ready to launch Flying Thunder God to take the two away from the battlefield. Who knew that at this time, an arrogant voice suddenly came out from the dust. Haha, old thief, it seems that you can't kill me, Lee said. Then a terrifying breath appeared, and a gust of wind directly blew away all the dust nearby, and a scene appeared in front of them. At this time, the eight-tail stretched out a finger and stopped at the center of Tianyu's eyebrows. No matter how hard the eight-tail tried, this finger couldn't move at all. How is it possible? What on earth are you? Humans can't have such fighting power. At this time, the eight-tail's eyes were full of fear, and he looked at the tiny human in front of him with disbelief. Because at this time, Tianyu was raising one of his hands and holding his arm tightly. You are just a frog in the well, Zai Xiang. Tianyu stretched out his other hand, and a vacuum wave appeared in the air. The next moment, all the power of the Aikin hand disappeared, and the whole person of Yabi flew far away. The next moment, Yabi's action made everyone stare wide-eyed. Because Yabi not only did not come back, but he even escaped with the help of Tianyu's attack? Chapter 535 Decapitation Operation. Tell me, this isn't true. Namikaze Minato didn't expect the eight-tails to turn around and run away. It was like a dream. Teacher Minato, we can't believe what we've seen either. Kakashi's cold face was also very helpless. When have they ever heard of a tailed beast running away? Aren't tailed beasts always symbols of brutality? Every time a tailed beast appears, it ends with the death of countless villagers. Apart from the first generation of Hokage of Konoha village, who else can frighten a tailed beast so much that it flees without a fight? Haha, do you think you can run away? Tianyu sneered at the spot, and then the figure of Tianyu who was originally standing in the spot slowly dissipated. This is an afterimage. Tianyu's speed has reached this speed, even the eyes can no longer catch his speed. The next moment Tianyu appeared on the head of the eight-tails, and kicked off the only remaining foot on the head of the eight-tails with a light kick. Roar. The eight-tails couldn't bear the pain and couldn't help but roar. At this time, the voice of the third Raikage also appeared. Tianyu, boy, let's just leave it at that. If you go too far, I'm not without a backup plan. The third Raikage was very angry now, thinking that he was too shameful. He was the Raikage of a village after all, but he was so excessive now. Tianyu sneered and looked at the third Raikage with a gloomy face. Haha, do you really think you are someone? Tianyu sneered, and then his body appeared in various places of the 8 tails, and a white shock wave appeared in his hand. Yu Xiang. Heavy. Then dozens of shock waves hit the 8 tails. Then the third raikage was pressed to the ground by countless Yu Xiangs. Damn it. The third raikage had no choice now, and could only smile helplessly. 8 tails, I'm sorry, I can only give up on you. The third raikage was also very helpless, gathering all his strength in his body, and then a figure separated from the 8 tails. Tianyu, you wait. The third raikage looked at Tianyu viciously, and then fled the scene at his fastest speed. 8 tail never thought that this guy would give up on him now. At the beginning, the two of them had already discussed that when they ruled the ninja world, they would be able to travel around the world freely, and they would not have to live a life of being hated by everyone in the future. But now this kid actually went back on his word and gave up on him. You should sleep for a while. Tianyu looked at 8-tailed impatiently, and then knocked him out completely. Anyway, this guy is just a waste. If he is killed now, it will be a waste of time to wait for his resurrection. It is better to leave him here, and he will be very useful for the future. So let's leave him here. Tianyu glanced at the third raikage who had turned into a small black dot. But he didn't think of chasing him. Anyway, this guy is not very useful, so if that's the case, I'll make good use of this old man. Then Tianyu came to Inoki in an instant. Old man, I should introduce myself now. I am Konoha Ninja Tianyu, and I am here to help you. Tianyu smiled and put his hand in front of Inoki. Inoki looked at Tianyu in disbelief. What the hell, he turned out to be one of us. If he was one of us, why would he bother with me? Inoki even wanted to kill this guy now. He already has his own mission, so why bother with it? If the three of them besieged the third raikage at the same time, wouldn't the problem be solved quickly? Tianyu glanced at Inoki without caring, and the looming pressure on him pressed on Inoki. Haha, I have heard of your name for a long time. Your Excellency Tianyu is really gifted. After Inoki felt a breath of Tianyu, his face became very ugly. Is it great to have strength? Well, it is great to have strength. Even if he really had never heard of Tengo's name, he still had to pretend that he had. Well, Lord Inoki is really old. In that case, I will go to see my disciples. Tengo was polite for a while, and then came to the side of Minato Namikaze. Brother Minato, this matter is really dangerous. It's like this. Now the third raikage is seriously injured. I hope to let these 5 guys hunt down the third raikage. After Tengo said this, everyone present couldn't help but gasp. After all, no matter how seriously injured the third raikage is now, he is not someone that a few boys can fight against. Sir Tengo, I think you should think twice about this matter. Although Minato Namikaze now believes in Tengo's fighting ability very much, but this does not mean that these disciples of Tengo can beat the third raikage. It's no problem. The third raikage is a waste now. The power of the third raikage is just the chakra left in his body. It's not a big problem. Tianyu shook his head and looked at his 2 apprentices. Yes, master. Seeing the attitude of the 2, Minato Namikaze nodded without hesitation. Okay, you guys go too. If anyone can kill the third raikage, I will tell the third generation master. Then Minato Namikaze stopped looking at these children and left the place with Tianyu. No, I don't want to die. Obito screamed at this time, and couldn't believe his ears. Are these 2 teachers crazy? They actually want them to hunt down a terrifying monster like the third raikage. Teacher, isn't this a bit too much? We may have gone a bit too far. Even Kakashi couldn't believe his ears. He didn't expect a calm teacher to be like this. I've already said that I won't care about anything about you anymore, let's go. Namikaze Minato also closed his eyes, nodded to Tianyu, and then disappeared. As for Tianyu, he also nodded to his apprentice, and then disappeared. As for the Minato team that was abandoned by Namikaze Minato, they were now full of disappointment, and then they could only sit on the ground, not planning to complete the mission. Chapter 536, Way of Survival. Just let them do this here. Namikaze Minato saw his students doing this, and an angry expression appeared on his face. Originally, I thought that their talents were not bad, and they should be trained. But now they actually disobeyed the military order directly, which was really a bit too much. It's okay. Without us, they can't go back. Besides, if they don't look for them, do you really think that the raikage won't come to find them? Tianyu said mysteriously, and then the whole person disappeared on the spot. This Tianyu is really getting more and more mysterious. Namake's Minato was also very helpless. He didn't expect that Tianyu was getting more and more unclear. At this time, in the depths of the forest, a ragged figure was struggling to move forward in the forest. This person was the third-generation Raikage who was still high-spirited just now, and because the Jinchuriki lost the tailed beast, he would definitely die. But looking at the appearance of the third-generation Raikage, his body is really scary, so he is like this. But time should not be much, and I don't know if he can hold on until he returns to Kumagakure to explain the rest. Lord Raikage, it's really sad to see you become like this. A voice startled the Raikage, and he quickly stepped back several steps, looking around in horror. Tianyu. I'm already like this now, don't you want me to leave a word? The Raikage was also very helpless in his heart. After all, this matter was really helpless. He should have been invincible. Who knew that he would be chased and killed by a child now? Haha, the Raikage is really powerful. How could I have such a vicious idea? Tianyu appeared beside the Raikage with a big laugh. The Raikage also had a vicious look on his face, and finally he could only sit on the ground with a wry smile. Okay, I know you are here to kill me, so kill me. I hope you can give me a quick death. The Raikage said with a look of picking people, and it can be seen how desperate the Raikage is now. Tisk, Lord Raikage, you think too highly of yourself. Tianyu sat down next to the third Raikage helplessly and took a look at his body. Not to mention the damage to our hospital, even your body, which you were so proud of, seems to be useless now, right? The third Raikage saw Tianyu's expression, but it hurt him. What Tianyu said was not something he was proud of, but it became a laughingstock for others. Since you are not here to kill me, why are you chasing me? Although the third Raikage was very angry now, he showed a look of hope on his face after hearing Tianyu's words. Well, but I hope you still have a mission, which is your only way to survive. The third Raikage wanted to refuse, but after seeing the murderous aura on Tianyu, he could only nod helplessly. You say. Very good, then let's do this. Actually, there is no big request. Just practice with these students of mine. I ask you to hunt down these children directly. If you can defeat these children, you can leave naturally. Tianyu said as if he was talking about something unrelated. Even the third Raikage couldn't help but be stunned after hearing Tianyu's request. After all, even if he is still a seriously injured body, so what? He is at least a strong existence among the cage-level strongmen. Now he has to hunt down some children by himself. Doesn't he look down on himself from time to time? Lord Tianyu, are you serious? The third Raikage felt that Tianyu was giving him a way out now. After all, killing a cage of Kumagakure is not a small matter. Even if Tianyu has such a terrifying fighting power, it is simply a matter of closing the fold after the sheep have been sheep. He will definitely be severely punished because of the threat from the Kumagakure village. Well, go ahead. I hope you can succeed. I'm celebrating you in advance. Tianyu sneered and then disappeared. The third-generation Raikage also smiled. He didn't expect that he really had a way out. As long as he got out, he would tell Konoha village about this matter. With Sarutobi Hiruzen's spirit of giving up, he would definitely hand Tianyu over. Because he knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen liked to sacrifice others in exchange for his own temporary peace. Such things have happened in Konoha village before. So the 4 villages have now excluded Konoha village from the 5 major villages. As long as there is a chance, they may not hesitate to destroy Konoha village. Okay, then now is the hunting time. Since you asked for it yourself, I will not show mercy. The third-generation Raikage showed a cruel smile on his face, and then chased in the direction of his escape. At this time, the 3 people in Minato's class had already sat down to rest, and they all took out their dry food. Just wait and see, Minato-sensei won't be so cruel to leave us here. It's because he believed the rumors of Amaji-sensei that he left us here. He will pick us up when he reacts. At this time, Obito spoke unclearly, his mouth full of food. As for the other 2, they were still quite intelligent, but they just barely stopped eating when they were hungry. Because this is under a cliff, they only know how to get here, but no one knows how to leave. It is said that Minato-sensei may come. But if Minato-sensei doesn't come, their food is limited, so it's better to leave some flowers. As for Amaji's 2 apprentices, they were very mechanical. They didn't eat their dry food immediately. The first thing they did was to go to the deep forest on the cliff to find out if there was any prey to eat. In their hearts, they knew very well who Amaji was. Since Amaji said it, it must be realized. So the first thing they had to do was to ensure that there was enough food. These dry food, that is, the most urgent androbium, could be taken out. While there are still resources, they still have to think of a way to survive. Haha, you two fools, you don't eat the food that's already there, but you have to eat what you caught yourself. Do you have any hobbies? Abito couldn't help but burst into laughter after seeing the actions of Might Guy and the others. While talking, he stuffed food into his mouth, looking so happy. Chapter 537 The third Raikage arrives. Damn you guys, when I return to Kumagakure, I'll see how you can still be so arrogant. The third Raikage covered his wound while moving forward with difficulty. A bloody trail had long been dragged out behind him. If it weren't for his strong body, he might have died long ago. But this didn't make him feel anything. He only wanted to get to the exit quickly. As long as he killed Shionyu's little apprentices, he would have a chance to survive. Ha ha ha, you guys wait for me. Since I can't kill you, I'll collect some interest back. The third Raikage couldn't help laughing when he thought of Shionyu's sad and angry expression when he saw his apprentice die. Haha, this guy really likes to fantasize, interesting. Shionyu was heading towards the exit at this time, but because the third Raikage was too slow now, so he arranged a scout mouse behind the third Raikage. As long as the third Raikage made a little movement, the scout mouse would find it and then pass on all the information of the third Raikage. At this time, Shionyu happened to see the third Raikage yelling in place. It seems that this guy has some mental problems because of his own reasons. Lord Shionyu, what are you laughing at here? These guys are not worth your laughter. At this time, Minato Namake's mouth was full of bitterness, because his apprentices were really embarrassing. They basically did everything that couldn't be done in the wild. Things could have been better, but who knew that Abito, this bastard, went up to organize when Kakashi made the right move. As a result, in only half a day, the three of them directly ate up their 5-day food reserves. They really have no sense of survival in the wild. Haha, it's nothing, but brother Minato, I still think you need to teach them well. This situation in the wild, if it's still so excessive, I think I will die soon. Shionyu's said while looking at his two apprentices not far away. At this time, the division of labor between the two was very clear. Because Yuhikirni had no combat power, Might Guy was asked to go hunting in the forest. Part of the prey brought back will be used as dinner today, and the rest will be used to make something that can be stored for a long time. Alice, I really envy your vision. You actually found such a good apprentice. You are so lucky. Namake's Minato has long been envious of these two children of Shionyu's. Originally, when he was in the Ninja Academy, Namake's Minato also knew these two children. He knew that one was hardworking and the other had good talent. However, because of the existence of other geniuses, the brilliance of the two was also overshadowed. In addition, the two did not like to show off, so no one paid attention to them. Who knew that these two pieces of good jade met a good master to carve them to the maximum extent? Same here, but brother Minato must be ready, he is coming. Shionyu's squinted his eyes and looked in the direction of the forest. He clearly felt a murderous aura spreading in the forest. Namake's Minato also stood up quickly and looked ahead cautiously. He did not expect that the other party would actually come. Sir Shionyu's, you really have good means. I didn't expect that the other party would really come when he said. At this time, Namake's Minato couldn't help but admire him. After all, a seriously injured cage-level player was able to face the two of them. I believe Shionyu's also used some means. Haha, if brother Minato praises me like this again, I will be proud. Although Shionyu's said this, his face was still full of that familiar signature smile. It was obvious that Shionyu's didn't pay any attention to this matter. Namake's Minato also smiled slightly, and appeared at the edge of the forest with Shionyu's, just blocking the disciple's sight. Haha, the third generation Raikage is really a beautiful scenery, I didn't expect it to be so miserable now. Namake's Minato came to the side of the third generation Raikage and patted him on the shoulder. Shionyu's, you told me that you wouldn't do anything to me. The expression of the third generation Raikage also became very gloomy. He didn't expect that he had come here and met these two guys. Are these two young people so dishonest? At this time, the heart of the third generation Raikage, which was originally burning with hope, became cold, and he looked at Shionyu's in despair. Haha, what are you talking about, third Raikage? I, Tianyu, attach great importance to credit. We are here just to chat with you. Since you are ready, are you going to start? Tianyu pulled Minato Namikaze behind him with a smile, and then looked at the third Raikage with a smile. Haha, I told you, I am ready, don't you know when to start? The third Raikage had already begun to be eager to try, ready to start at any time. Of course any time, then please be careful, after all, these kids don't know the severity of the situation, don't hurt you. Tianyu laughed loudly, then glanced at Minato Namikaze, and disappeared with Minato Namikaze. Sir Tianyu, is this really okay? Minato Namikaze was still a little scared at this time. If these 5 geniuses died, even with his status in Konoha village, Minato Namikaze might be punished by the 3rd generation. Haha, don't worry, just watch. Tianyu shook his head with a sneer. 3rd generation? The old man Sarutobi Hirozen probably wanted to let these kids die here. This way, the old ministers in the village would be sad. It would be a good time to root out the evil, right? Sarutobi Hirozen might not hate them, and he might even reward them. Well, I hope things turn out the way you said. Namikaze Minato smiled bitterly helplessly, and then he could only sit aside and resign himself to his fate. Tianyu just smiled and said nothing, looking at the people who were still having a picnic. When do you say we will go home? To be honest, I really miss home after being outside for so many days. At this time, Obito seemed to have really relaxed and looked at the sky. And Obito's words seemed to have aroused the emotions of everyone present. Even Might Guy and Kurenayuhi were stunned for a moment. After all, they were all children. After being away from home for so long, without the protection of their families, they really knew the cruelty of the outside world. When we complete this mission, we will naturally go back. Kakashi looked firmly at the cliff exit in the distance, his fists clenched tightly. Chapter 538, Deserting from the Battlefield. Haha, you finally said something pleasing to the ear. Tianyu sneered, thinking that Obito finally said something that people could listen to. He has been in this world for quite some time, to be honest, Tianyu also missed him a little. He didn't know how his parents were doing now, and whether they managed the weapon shop well. When he thought of his parents' profiteers, Tianyu couldn't help laughing. And Tiantian, the little girl, didn't know if she studied seriously under Tsunade. When Tianyu thought of Tsunade, his whole body couldn't help trembling. He remembered Tsunade, the crazy woman, very clearly. As long as he didn't have anything to do, he would use his identity to make him do this and that. As long as he resisted, he would not be the Hokage, and let himself do it. Tsunade really grasped his weaknesses. But if he was not in the village, nothing should happen. After all, there were 2 ancestors guarding the village, and the existence of the 1st and 2nd generations was known to almost the entire ninja world. There shouldn't be any blind things to defend Konoha village. And there's his little fiancée, whom he has not seen for such a long time. Tianyu really missed Hinata's soft face. Especially the way her face turned red when she saw him. Tianyu couldn't help laughing. Now he doesn't want to go back. After all, he finally got a vacation, and he can't go back so easily. If he goes back, he will be caught by Tsunade, that crazy woman, and he will have to do those tasks by himself. He doesn't have anything to do here. He is very free to do whatever he wants. It's better here. Haha, Sir Tianyu, what are you thinking about that makes you so happy? When Minato Namikaze saw Tianyu like this, he couldn't help squinting his eyes. Tianyu usually showed no emotion in front of everyone, and no one knew what he was thinking in his heart. This also led everyone to think that Tianyu was sick. Seeing Tianyu like this now, Minato Namikaze knew that Tianyu was really an ordinary person. Nothing, I just thought of something fun. Tianyu shook his head, then put away his expression and looked at the woods in the distance. Does it seem to have started? Namikaze Minato stood up and looked at the direction of the woods nervously, worried that his students would be in danger. Ha, you really have a refined taste. You actually eat here. It's really good. The 3rd Raikage dragged his seriously injured body and barely crawled out of the woods. 3rd Raikage, how dare you come out? After seeing the people coming, Obito couldn't help but drop the chicken leg in his hand to the ground and widened his eyes. Looking at the current body of the 3rd Raikage, it can be seen that he is about to die. But there are 2 cage-level strongmen on their side, and another person injured him. Even if he came in his prime, he would have to take a detour, right? The third Reikage, our master, is next to us. If you dare to do anything to us, don't forget the two teachers behind us. Obito was a little bit cocky when he spoke. After all, who wouldn't be afraid when such a huge thing is next to him? Even the others gathered together, looking at the third Reikage with vigilance. Do you really think the two guys behind you can help you? Let me tell you, your teacher has given up on you and will not help you. The third Reikage said as he walked towards the bonfire. And Obito and the others were also afraid, and kept retreating, keeping a safe distance from the third Reikage. Just a group of ants. The third Reikage sneered, then picked up the food on the ground and devoured it. After all, he had been wandering in the forest for such a long time. Not to mention his intact body. With his serious injuries, the energy in his body has been depleted. If he doesn't get some energy, he may die here before he escapes. And Kakashi and the others also looked around with ugly faces. Tianyu and the other two did not come out for such a long time. This also made everyone understand what happened. Tianyu teachers and Minato teachers really have this courage. It was basically impossible for them to kill the seriously injured Reikage with these ninja students. Teacher Minato, we are really going to die, please come out and save us. Obito still didn't give up, and shouted on the spot, hoping that Minato Namikaze could come out. But there was no response in the sky at all. Obito could only look at the third generation Reikage in the distance with disappointment. They were really abandoned. And just when Obito called for help, Kakashi and others had already started to plan a strategy. They also knew that they could only rely on them in this battle, so they had to find a way to solve it. As for the Reikage, he didn't care about these things at all. Some kids were easy. Even if his body was like this now, it was not something a kid could compare to. So he was still seriously getting energy to ensure that even if he went out later, he had to ensure that he could return to the hidden cloud village. As long as he went back, it would be the end of Minato Namikaze and Amaji. Eating, do I have a chance? Obito didn't discuss with them, but looked at the third generation Reikage who was eating seriously. When the third Reikage came out just now, he felt that it was very strenuous to move. Is it because of himself? Obito's eyes flashed with a gleam, then he smiled and turned around and ran. As long as he ran now, he would be free. Fighting with a shadow? This is like risking his life. Humph. The third Reikage sneered, and then a ball of black thunder appeared in his hand, hitting Obito's feet directly. I'm warning you once. If you dare to run again, I don't think I will be crooked next time. The third Reikage snorted coldly, and then continued to eat the food in front of him. At this time, Obito was sitting on the ground, his legs couldn't help shaking. If it weren't for his good physical fitness, he might have loosened his legs and peed. Rebel? Haha, brother Minato, I think you still need to deal with this young man. After Tianyu saw Obito's actions, a hint of murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Defection on the battlefield is not a small matter. Chapter 539, The Powerful Third Reikage. Of course, I will pay attention to this matter. Namikaze Minato's face also became very bad. After all, deserting on the battlefield. This is a very serious matter for a ninja. Even in Konoha village, ninjas who desert will be killed on the spot. And Obito actually deserted on his first mission. This is a slap in the face for Namikaze Minato. Haha, that's good. Tianyu looked at Obito's back coldly. No wonder he betrayed Konoha village, just this rebellious character. It is said that if nothing happened at the beginning, Obito's betrayal was a matter of time, and there was no need to doubt it at all. Even Tianyu wanted to kill this kind of person now. At this time, Obito also knew that his impulse just now did something very bad. He could only lower his head and come behind Kakashi, and listen to their plan carefully. When everyone saw Obito coming back, their faces became very bad. A rebel, although because of fear, they also didn't believe Obito very much. Okay, that's all. Obito, I hope you can complete your mission seriously. Kakashi's words eased everyone's relationship. So they started to make arrangements. Obito nodded after hearing this, and then he came to a place and sat down. Oh, I'm really full. Your cooking skills are really good. The third Reikage was full and drank enough. After wiping his hands clean, he stood up and looked coldly at the guys in front of him. Then I'll leave you with a whole body for the sake of your safety. The third Reikage laughed loudly, then his body suddenly jumped up and rushed towards Obito. He knew just now that this kid should be the weakest one. Then get rid of one person first, and then defeat them one by one. This way, it would be less consuming. Otherwise, it would be a bit troublesome to deal with so many people now. Obito, get out of the way. Nahorin hurriedly shouted to Obito, but Obito had already been stunned. The aura that erupted from the third Raikage at this time was really terrifying. The criminal felt that he could not control his body at all. An kunai escaped from the hands of the third Raikage. The left-hand kunai stabbed Obito's head, and the right fist also hit Obito's stomach. Obito will not live today. Not good. Minato Namikaze saw that Obito was in danger, and quickly stood up and wanted to go over to help. Who knew that Tianyu suddenly appeared behind him and put his hand on his shoulder. In an instant, Minato Namikaze felt a force that he could not resist at all, and it fell directly on his shoulder. Brother Minato, you better watch here. Tianyu sneered, then spread his fingers and put his hand on Minato Namikaze's abdomen. Sealing technique. In an instant, Minato Namikaze felt that the power in his body gathered in his Tiantian, and he didn't dare to use any force, and there was no way to use it. Now Minato Namikaze has become an ordinary person. Tianyu, you have to know that Obito is a member of Uchiha. If he dies, neither you nor I will have a good ending. Namikaze Minato was also very anxious, his eyes were red, and he tried hard to exert his strength. But now he could only use this method to save his students. Just take a good look, I said we won't interfere. Tianyu shook his head impatiently, and then continued to look at the battlefield in the distance with a smile. Namikaze Minato was also very helpless and could only collapse on the ground. Because he knew that when he returned from this mission, he might not have a good life, right? Obito was also very panicked at this time, constantly shouting for Sharingan, wanting to escape quickly. Suddenly, 3 words appeared in his heart, and he shouted subconsciously. Sharingan. Obito opened his Sharingan at the most critical moment, and then disappeared on the spot. Oh. Tianyu looked at the direction of Obito, who disappeared on the spot with interest. It was obviously a small 3 Magatama, but now he could use Kamui in an exceptional way. It seems that this little guy has awakened his potential because of the crisis just now. That was close. Obito came out from nowhere. He looked at the place where he was just now. A pit had been blown out by the Raikage, and his face turned pale. But what kind of power was that just now? Obito felt a moment of panic just now, and then disappeared from the spot. He wanted to try again, but there was no way. Fortunately, nothing happened. After seeing that Obito was fine, Minato Namikaze couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, nothing happened. It was a close call. Obito, are you okay? Kakashi shouted in the direction of Obito. And Obito also shook his head in confusion and didn't say anything. After seeing Obito shaking his head, Kakashi breathed a sigh of relief, and then stood up and continued to attack the third Raikage. Everyone, act according to the original plan. This time, we must kill him. Yes. Everyone shouted, and then quickly surrounded the third Raikage and attacked him at their fastest speed. Only at this time, Kakashi and Might Guy did not move at all, but just approached the third Raikage. Ridiculous, do you really think that your ants can kill me? The third Raikage laughed loudly, and then a layer of chakra armor appeared on his body. Ha ha ha, you didn't expect that I can still use power, you guys, go to hell. I didn't expect that he could still use ninjutsu even though he was seriously injured like that, his body is really strong. After seeing the third Raikage using the chakra armor, Tianyu couldn't help but sigh. After all, the third Raikage had difficulty walking, and he didn't expect that he could still use the chakra armor now. Sir Tianyu, why don't you get those guys back? Namikaze Minato felt that Tianyu should have realized how powerful the Raikage was now, and that he couldn't be defeated by a few guys. If this continues, not only his apprentice, but even Tianyu's apprentices may be in danger, right? It should be possible to take action now, right? Brother Minato, if you talk any more, you may have to sleep for a while. Tianyu looked at Minato Namikaze with a smile, but the aura emanating from his body made Minato Namikaze tremble uncontrollably. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 540 Mission Explanation. It seems that Tianyu is in a very bad mood now, otherwise he would not talk to him like this. I'm sorry, I'm just a little worried about my students. Namake's Minato lowered his head quickly. He just remembered that Tianyu was a master who easily defeated the third Raikage. He was not someone he could resist at all. He just talked nonsense to such a village. He simply didn't want to live. What are you talking about, Minato brother? It seems like I'm forcing you. Let's continue watching. Tianyu smiled, and then ignored Namake's Minato. And Namake's Minato also laughed bitterly. How come Tianyu is not that kind of person? He doesn't care what other people are thinking in their hearts. Everything is his own interests. This kind of person is really terrible. Might Guy, do it. Kakashi saw that the time was ripe, and hurriedly shouted to Might Guy behind him, and then an electric current appeared in his hand. Raikiri. With Kakashi's roar, Might Guy instantly opened the 8 gates of ninjutsu and rushed out with Kakashi. What? The third Raikage's face changed drastically, and he quickly changed the direction of his body. The chakra shield on his body also disappeared. At this time, Might Guy had already appeared behind the third Raikage and punched the third Raikage's wound. Kakashi was not to be outdone, and appeared in front of the third Raikage. The Raikiri directly slashed into the third Raikage's chest. This was the wound of the third Raikage's duel with the 8 tails. This was also a rare wound on the third Raikage. I didn't expect that they would notice it. You guys, The third Raikage roared, knocked Kakashi in front of him away, and then turned around and pressed Might Guy to the ground. Kakashi. Naharlin saw Kakashi flying out, and hurriedly wanted to come up to catch Kakashi. Unfortunately, Kakashi's flying speed was too fast, and he finally crashed into a tree. He smashed dozens of trees on the way, and then slowly stopped. Ahem. As expected, even if the Raikage is seriously injured, we can't fight him. Kakashi struggled to get up from the ground. It was roughly estimated that he had more than 10 fractures on his body. Just the angry blow of the Raikage made it like this. If the third Raikage was in his prime, how strong would he be? Kakashi, are you okay? Naharin also arrived at this time and quickly took out all the medicines in the backpack. Wait a minute to heal the wound, let's go back and see how it goes. Although Kakashi is seriously injured now, he is very confident that the attack just now will kill or cripple the third Raikage. This is a good opportunity. But Kakashi, your body. Don't say anything, go quickly, otherwise when the third Raikage reacts, we will have no chance. Kakashi said anxiously, and was then supported by Naharin back to the battlefield. Ahem, this is really interesting. I didn't expect that ants could be so powerful. At this time, a trace of blood flowed from the corner of the mouth of the third Raikage, and his face was distorted as he looked at the children lying around. He originally thought it was a battle that he would win. The balance of victory had already tipped over to his side. Who knew that the reversal would come so suddenly, resulting in this situation now? Puff. One of the 3 Raikages couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood and knelt on one knee on the ground. Impossible, I can't fail, this is impossible. The third Raikage was very confused. Why did he lose to a few boys? His strength was not very strong. Where did he lose? What's impossible? Isn't it just failure? But Lord Raikage, the price of failure is death, Tianyu laughed, and then gently placed his hand on the head of the third Raikage. No. Lord Tianyu, I haven't failed yet. You see, I have controlled everyone now, and I will succeed. The third Raikage didn't expect Tianyu to appear so quickly. He wanted to stand up, but just as he raised his legs, he felt his body churning. Then he spat out another mouthful of blood. Haha, Lord Raikage, don't force yourself, or it will be bad for your health. Tianyu looked at the Raikage with a smile. No. Puff. Tianyu directly used force to crush the head of the third Raikage, and then wiped his hands. Alice, I still have to find someone in the future. Don't let me do this kind of dirty and tiring work, really. Tianyu looked at the headless corpse on the ground with disdain, and then pulled Might Guy up. Do you know what you are lacking this time? Tianyu looked at Might Guy coldly, as if he didn't care about the injuries on Might Guy's body at all. I don't know. Might Guy thought for a long time, but he couldn't think of what he did wrong. He felt that he did it perfectly this time. Boom. Tianyu threw Might Guy out and let him hide a tree directly. Haha, remember, don't be arrogant. The attack just now was beautiful, but I ask you, why don't you leave? Tianyu looked at Might Guy with a sneer. If it weren't for the fact that the third Raikage had been seriously injured just now, their attack would not have killed the third Raikage. Especially at the end, after the attack was successful, The two people actually stayed where they were. Are they not afraid of death? When my guy heard this, his face turned red and he couldn't say a word. That's right, just now my guy really thought that the third Reikage was finished, so he was not on guard. Who knew that in the end he would be pressed to the ground by the opponent? Even Kakashi, who had just walked in from outside, heard what Tianyu said. His face couldn't help but become embarrassed. After all, he was beaten away just now for this reason. Okay, this mission is successfully completed. Let me announce the results of this time. Everyone hurried to Tianyu's front, intending to listen to their own results. Who knew that the weak voice of Minato Namikaze came from above? Sir Aim, since this matter is over, can I come down too? You can come down. Aim didn't understand why Minato Namikaze would ask such a stupid question. But Sir Aim, you just sealed my chakra. Minato Namikaze didn't say it just now because he didn't want the students to know about his embarrassment. Who knew that Aim actually forgot the reason why he was trapped up there, so he had the audacity to say it out loud. Chapter 541 Signature Smile. What, just now, Teacher Tianyu sealed Teacher Minato's chakra. Everyone couldn't believe their ears, thinking that they had heard it wrong. However, Obito was very sure that Minato must have had something wrong just now. Otherwise, he would not have refused to help when his life was in danger. After all, he was also a member of the Uchiha clan. If he was in danger, Minato would be punished. I forgot about this matter. Brother Minato, wait for me. Tianyu smiled, pulled Minato down, and then unsealed Minato. I'm really sorry for what happened just now. You know, the trials of these children are also very important. Tianyu apologized while unsealing Minato. Of course, I was a little anxious just now. Thank you very much, Lord Tianyu. Although Minato was very depressed now, he couldn't say anything. After all, Tianyu's fighting power was even better when he sealed his ability just now. Who on earth could actually seal all his power with a wave of his hand? That's good. Then I'll announce the results now, is it okay? Tianyu had expected what Minato Namikaze would say, so he asked with satisfaction. Of course, if you want to announce it, then do it here. Minato said as he came behind Tianyu, not daring to disobey Tianyu's idea at all. Tianyu smiled and then took out a piece of paper. First place this time will be given to Kakashi, second place in reconnaissance, and first place in actual combat. You did a good job and made good preparations for the battle. Keep up the good work. Tianyu said, and suddenly threw out a short knife in his hand. This should be no worse than your white fang. Just use it. It can be regarded as a reward for you. Tianyu smiled and then took out the second gift. Everyone looked at Tianyu in surprise. No one thought that Tianyu would actually give them gifts. Looking at Tianyu like this, he should have prepared a lot of things, right? Fortunately, you didn't protect your students. Minato Namikaze was relieved now. He originally thought that Tianyu would kill his students. Unexpectedly, Tianyu was fair and gave the first place to Kakashi. Okay, the second place is naturally Yuhi. You have very rich outdoor survival skills. You are the first place in the intelligence mission, so I will give you this. A sphere appeared in Tianyu's hand and he threw it directly to Yuhi. This is the kaleidoscope eye that Tianyu has been using. Yuhi happened to use illusion, and giving this thing to him can be regarded as having a good master. Thank you, master. Yuhi saw the different eyes in her hand and smiled quickly. Because the master used this thing to defeat his father at the beginning, and he didn't expect it to be in his hands now. You deserve it, take it. Tianyu smiled, and then looked at my guy. Kai, you made the wrong choice in the actual combat this time, but most of it is still good. You are the third place. Do you have any objection? No, master. Might Guy lowered his head quickly. It was good that the master didn't scold him now. He didn't find fault. Well, this is the move of Konoha Shenlong. You should know Mr. Chen, right? Yes, of course I know. Thank you for the ninjutsu. When my guy heard about Konoha Shenlong, a smile appeared on his face. This is a master of physical skills second only to his father. The Konoha Shenlong is very famous. He didn't expect that he would have the opportunity to inherit this. Well, take it to practice. Tianyu smiled, and then looked at Nahara Rin who was supporting Kakashi. Rin, you did a very good job as a medical ninja this time. What do you want? Tianyu didn't have any particularly suitable ninjutsu. He could only see what Nahorin wanted now. I don't want anything, I just hope to heal Kakashi. After Nahorin finished speaking, she looked at Kakashi with an extremely painful look. Since the battle just now, Kakashi couldn't move on his own. There was no place on his body that was not injured. If the punch of the third Raikage just now was not strong enough, Kakashi would have passed away long ago. And Obito also looked at Nahorin gloomily. I was so good to you, but you ignored me. Now that Kakashi is injured, you actually used such a precious opportunity? Okay, don't you regret it? I don't regret it. Tianyu looked at Nahorin meaningfully, and then threw a life crystal to Kakashi. Just cover it, the last person is Obito. Tianyu looked at Obito with his signature smile. But those who know Tianyu's habits know that when Tianyu shows this smile, it is not a good thing. Obito, it's okay that you are at the bottom of the character information this time, but you also deserted the battlefield. Originally, this should be a capital crime, but since it's your first mission, you will kneel at the gate of Konoha for a day after you go back. Tianyu said lightly, but Obito exploded. Teacher Tianyu, why do other people have rewards? I did something wrong, but I shouldn't be punished. Kneeling in Konoha village for a whole day. Not to mention whether I can bear it, just look at the people coming and going in Konoha village. My reputation will be tarnished in the future. Shoo. Obito didn't react at this time, and he was already grabbed by the neck and lifted up. I don't want my words to be repeated, I don't know if you understand. Minato Namikaze wanted to stop him, but when he saw Tianyu's angry look, he gave up. I know, Obito said with difficulty, his legs kept thumping, and his hair had already turned liver color. Haha, you are still very sensible. Since everyone already knows, what do you think, Minato? Tianyu's signature smile appeared again, looking at Minato Namikaze not far away. Minato Namikaze couldn't help but shudder. Every time this monster showed this kind of smile, nothing good happened. No, it must be no decision made by Lord Tianyu. Minato Namikaze's head was like a rattle again, and he didn't dare to have any opinions at all. It's like I'm some kind of demon king, it's good if there is nothing. Tianyu smiled, very satisfied with everyone's reaction now, and waved his hand to take back the body of the third Raikage on the ground. Okay, let's retreat home. Chapter 542 Danzo's Thoughts. Lord Inoki, you are back. At this time on the battlefield, Wang Tu was planning to find a way to find his Lord Inoki. Who knew that just when he was about to set off, he unexpectedly found Inoki himself here. But looking at Inoki like this, it seems that his body is covered with blood. Is he injured? Well, we will retreat now. I didn't expect to meet a little pervert. It's unlucky. Inoki covered his wound and complained helplessly, and then planned to leave. Who knew that Wang Tu didn't intend to understand it all? He looked at Inoki awkwardly. Lord Inoki, it's like this. We are joining forces with Konoha village, and there are several Konoha village ninjas. Should we wait? After all, he also saw Tianyu's combat effectiveness this time. If he gave up her apprentices, he might end up miserably. What? Are they really our friendly forces? After hearing this, Inoki's face became very ugly. After all, he thought Tianyu and the others just happened to meet, but he didn't expect that they really came to help him. It seems that I really asked for trouble this time. Nothing, I have already met them, retreat now. Inoki's surprise was only fleeting, and then he continued to walk back to the resting tent. Huangta didn't understand why Inoki was so angry, and could only smile helplessly, and then left the scene. At this time, Konoha village Tianyu and others had already arrived at the gate of the village. After a few days of running around, especially the faces of several children, they had already lost some childishness and gained a little maturity. But now the only one with a depressed face may be Obito. Because he knows very well what his punishment is. That is to stay at the gate of Konoha village for several days. Isn't this asking for his life? Obito smiled helplessly, and he had already arrived at the gate. Originally, Obito had been trying to beg for mercy in his heart all the way. But I don't know what happened. Every time he saw Tianyu's face, Obito couldn't help trembling all over. He didn't dare to tell Tianyu about this matter at all. I was afraid that after this matter was over, Tianyu would lift me up like he did on the cliff. Okay, we're here, then, brother Minato, we have to do what we should do, we won't stay. Tianyu smiled, and when he said this, he couldn't help but glance at Obito. The meaning was very clear. If Tianyu knew that Minato Namikaze was protecting Obito, the consequences would be very serious. This also completely destroyed Obito's last hope. Haha, it's really interesting. I've seen a lot on this trip. Tianyu said while looking at the body of the third Raikage in his space. He brought this back specially, after all, the body of this thing is too powerful. If this is given to Orochimaru, I wonder what kind of expression Orochimaru will show. Tianyu thought of this and smiled, then after watching his two apprentices go home, he also returned to the hotel. At this time, Minato Namikaze also came to the Hokage's office. He stood in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen with an embarrassed expression on his face. After all, what Tianyu did this time was really too big, so he could only give back. Although he shouldn't be like this in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. But it's obvious that he did something wrong this time, so he should just stand here obediently. You mean, after you left with Tianyu and your classmates, he crushed the third Raikage alone? Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but gasp. It was really amazing. Now in this world, the third Raikage is basically the strongest. I didn't expect that after listening to Minato Namikaze's words, he defeated the third Raikage so easily. However, the third Raikage still had some reservations in his heart. After all, he thought Minato Namikaze should have been scared out of his wits. That's why he imagined Tianyu to be such a powerful existence. It shouldn't be that powerful, right? That's right, and the body of the third Raikage has been taken away by Tianyu. Minato Namikaze also blamed himself very much. At the beginning, because of Tianyu's coercion, he didn't dare to say a word. Now he can only report everything. Okay, I see. You did a great job this time. Go down first. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't show any expression. After asking all the questions, he let Minato Namikaze leave. Minato Namikaze just nodded, then bowed to Sarutobi Hiruzen and left the office. Danzo, come out. What do you think about this? After seeing Minato Namikaze completely leave, Sarutobi Hiruzen also fell completely on the chair, covering his eyes and said, This matter is indeed very tricky. A child actually has such a strong fighting power. It should have paid a price. We can take advantage of the opportunity. Danzo walked out of the dark and said, with the cold light in his eyes. No, we don't know about Tianyu yet, so we can't act rashly. Sarutobi Hiruzen directly rejected Danzo's proposal, which also changed Danzo's eyes when he looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen. It's like this every time. If it weren't for the fact that there was such a waste Hokage in their village, how could they be looked down upon by other villages? Danzo even wanted to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen. Was the second generation Hokage blinded by lard? He actually believed in such a cowardly guy. Then don't kill him. If you want to understand him, you can't follow us. Danzo sneered and put forward his own opinion. After all, Tianyu's entire reconnaissance ability is too strong, even the root of him is indecisive. After all, the people they sent at the beginning, even if their strength was not very good, but he still knew the reconnaissance methods. He was discovered so easily, and he still admired them very much? Send someone to find him later. Since she calls us Konoha's ninja, let's get to know each other. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally came to this conclusion after hesitating for a long time. Now he can only use this method to find out what Tianyu's ability is. Otherwise, if things are like this, Tianyu may come to replace them before they understand Tianyu. Danzo's face also changed, and he couldn't believe his ears. I didn't expect that with Sarutobi Hiruzen's character, he would dare to take such a risk. Chapter 543 A Warning to Monkey. Why, do you have anything else to do? Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't raise his head, but felt that Danzo had not left yet, so he couldn't help asking. No, I'll go now. Danzo also knew that he had lost his composure, and said quickly, and then left the office. When Sarutobi Hiruzen saw Danzo was back leaving, he couldn't help but sigh. He found that he was increasingly unable to control Danzo. He always wanted to go against him, and this kind of person would be very dangerous to his position. However, as long as he completed all his plans, Danzo was just a jumping clown in his eyes. Who knew that now there would be a biggest variable, Tianyu? No one knew who he was, and no one knew what he wanted to do. The only information Sarutobi Hiruzen got now was that Tianyu was still very friendly to Konoha. Anyway, it was not possible to harm Konoha village for the time being. You two go and complete the task, and don't come back if you can't complete it. After Danzo walked out of the Hokage's office, he casually gave the task to someone else, and then left. He wanted to see how Sarutobi Hiruzen would win over such a kid. At this time, Tianyu, who was in the hotel, had no idea about what Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen thought. He was sitting happily in the hot spring. Not to mention, the favors here are a bit annoying, but this kind of enjoyment is not comparable to the original Konoha village. Oh, it's really comfortable. If their personalities can be better, it will be the best. Tianyu smiled helplessly, and then continued to enjoy the hot spring with his eyes closed. Suddenly, his eyes opened and he looked ahead with a smile. Two grown men peeking at me taking a bath, isn't it a bit perverted? If you don't want to die, leave quickly while I'm in a good mood. Tianyu felt that someone was hiding in front, but because it was too comfortable, he didn't want to pay attention. Who knew that these two people not only didn't leave, but even appeared behind Tianyu? Lord Tianyu, we are from the root of Konoha. Lord Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to invite you to the office for a chat. After hearing this, Tianyu was obviously stunned. What's going on? Isn't this old guy Sarutobi Hiruzen afraid of death? He dared to believe that after he returned, Namake's Minato would tell Sarutobi Hiruzen everything about him. His strength had already reached this level. How dare Sarutobi monkey? Okay, I know. You go back first, I'll be out in a while. After Tianyu finished speaking, he continued to close his eyes, obviously not wanting to pay attention to the two of them. But the two roots were also very hesitant. At the beginning, Shimura Danzo gave them the order to take Tianyu back. But now if Tianyu doesn't follow them, if he escapes in a while, it will be their fault. What? Do you want to die? Tianyu felt that he had given them face, and then opened his eyes, and a force rushed up from his body. This also made several root ninjas hurriedly step back and look at Tianyu in surprise. How could this kid be so powerful? After all, they didn't know that a team of the root died in Tianyu's hands. After this happened, Sarutobi Hiruzen directly asked Danzo to seal this matter. After all, this matter is not a glorious thing. If others knew about this, wouldn't their days in the root be ridiculed by others? So even the members of the root didn't know about this, and these members didn't know Tianyu's identity. You go, I don't want to say it again. Tianyu looked at the pale faces of the two roots and didn't say much. Thank you for not killing me. The root ninja also knew that the young man in front of him was not someone he could fight against, so he could only bow to Tianyu to express his gratitude, and then left the hot spring. After Tianyu saw the two leave, he seemed to have forgotten what happened just now and continued to soak. After the root ninja came out, he went to the Hokage's office as soon as possible. He told Sarutobi Hiruzen about this. Okay, you go down. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't blame them. When the two roots heard that the Hokage didn't blame them, you are the one who owed you kindness, they hurriedly left the office. Sarutobi Hiruzen also squinted his eyes, making it impossible to tell what he was thinking in his heart. In this way, Sarutobi Hiruzen waited motionlessly for the whole night, but Tianyu didn't come. Despite Sarutobi Hiruzen's mentality, he was extremely angry when he felt that this kid ignored him so much. No matter how powerful your fighting ability is. But he is the Hokage of Konoha village after all. It's okay if he doesn't come after I invited him. I've been waiting for a long time. Wouldn't he come over and say something? Creaky. Suddenly there was a harsh sound at the door, and Tianyu walked out of the door. He looked at the darkness in the room, with only the desk lamp on, and then turned on the lights in the office. Old man, it's not that you don't have money now. Turning on the lights doesn't cost much, otherwise I'll help you. Because Tianyu turned on the lights, Sarutobi Hiruzen closed his eyes and it took him a long time to adapt. He looked at Tianyu who was sitting in front of him at this time, and his heart was very angry, but he couldn't say anything. Tell me, do you know what's going on? Tianyu picked his nails casually, as if he didn't care about Sarutobi Hiruzen's identity at all. Who are you and why do you come to my Konoha village? Sarutobi Hiruzen hesitated for a moment, and finally put away his anger and looked at Tianyu in confusion. Tianyu looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a smile. For some reason, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt that although Tianyu's smile was very bright, he felt that there was murderous intent in this smile. Nothing, I came here just for fun. I won't disturb you, but I have only one request. If your plan touches the Tian family, the Sarutobi family will no longer exist. Tianyu said, and then disappeared from the spot. He didn't come here to give Sarutobi Hiruzen a face. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come so late. He came here just to warn Sarutobi Hiruzen that his grandfather was not something that anyone could touch. If he was really blind and risked being blamed by himself to touch his grandfather, then don't blame him. He can only let the Sarutobi family go to see Yanluo in advance. So after saying what he wanted to say, he naturally didn't stay any longer and left the office. Chapter 544 Obito Couple. After seeing Tianyu leave, Sarutobi Hiruzen was also a little surprised. When he heard that Namikaze Minato said that Tianyu could use Flying Thunder God, Sarutobi Hiruzen was still a little bit unconvinced. After all, he had not used his ninja secrets for a long time. It was impossible for Tianyu to learn Flying Thunder God. It should be a ninjutsu that was very similar to Flying Thunder God. But when he saw Tianyu's actions just now, he, who had seen the second generation Raikage and Namikaze Minato, was very sure that Tianyu just used Flying Thunder God. Especially the terrifying murderous aura in Tianyu's eyes just now, made Sarutobi Hiruzen feel a little threatened by his life. The boy just now might really be like Namikaze Minato, and his strength was already unimaginable. Since you have already said so, I hope you don't damage your reputation. Sarutobi Hiruzen remembered what Tianyu said after he left. As long as he didn't touch the Tian family, Tianyu would not interfere with his plan. Now he didn't care how Tianyu knew his plan, and he didn't want the Tian family to have anything to do with Tianyu. They all have the surname Tian, so they must have a close relationship. As long as he avoids the Tian family, this hidden cancer will not take action. After thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he already knew what Tianyu was thinking now. He just had to get along with him well. As long as he doesn't do anything to interfere with himself, it will be the greatest contribution to him. Tianyu, who left the Hokage's office, also looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen in the Hokage's office with disdain. Not to mention being as timid as a mouse, most of the things are in the hands of Shimura Danzo. Sure enough, there is such a useless Hokage in Konoha village, and the two Hokage are blinded by lard. Then Tianyu disappeared from the spot and came to the outside of the village alone. At this time, Obito, who was at the gate of the village, came to the gate of the village after arriving at the village. He had been kneeling here for a day. As long as tonight is over, he can leave. At this time, his parents were also beside him, and his mother was crying with her face covered. I don't understand why my son has to suffer. Even the father's face became very serious, and his eyes were full of heartache when he looked at his son. Originally, they were planning to take their son away. Who knew that when Obito heard about leaving, he was very excited. But as if he had thought of something, he quickly let go of his father's hand and knelt on the ground obediently. He knew very well what the monster Tianyu said. If he really acted recklessly, his fate might be very serious. Haha, I didn't expect you to be a man. You really kept your promise and knelt here. Tianyu's sneer made Obito unable to help but move, and then he looked at the young man in front of him nervously. It's you who made to kneel here, you devil. At this time, Obito's mother was like a shrew, cursing at Tianyu. But his father didn't say anything, just looked at Tianyu quietly. Tianyu glanced at the couple, and then froze for a moment, because he had seen the two on the list of martyrs. When the Nine Tails invaded the village, these two people were on the list of sacrifices in the village. In other words, Obito killed his own parents with his own hands. You too, Obito made a mistake, so he must be punished. What do you think, sir? Tianyu was quite polite to the two. He was able to protect the village with his own life. He was like this now because he was worried about his child. He still respected such people. What you said is right, Obito should be here. When Obito's mother was about to start cursing, who knew that his father actually spoke up and directly stopped his mother from speaking. This made the mother's face change drastically, and she looked at her husband in disbelief. Could it be that her son was threatened to kneel here, and he couldn't vent his anger? Are you dissatisfied? Tianyu smiled and nodded to the man, and then looked at Obito's mother with a smile. I'm sorry. Uchiha Pisces looked at Tianyu, his eyes full of hatred. Even if his son was held in the palm of his hand, he would be so scared that he melted. Now that he is here with Tianyu, he has suffered such a great crime. What on earth did his son do wrong? Even Uchiha Kari was looking at Tianyu, a little confused as to why Tianyu would punish his son. The two of them had also asked Obito, But Obito just stammered and said something. He didn't get to the point of the matter at all. I wonder what you two think should be the punishment for deserting the battlefield. Tianyu looked at the two with a smile, and then did not speak, giving them time to think about it. When Uchiha Shogayu heard this, his eyes widened, and he had an immature idea in his mind. Could it be? Even Uchiha Kari was a little embarrassed, but he finally said it out. He deserves the death penalty. Kari. Uchiha Shogayu wanted to stop her husband from saying it, but unfortunately Uchiha Kari had already said it. This also made Tianyu couldn't help but admire him. Sure enough, he is a loyal ninja, not bad. Tianyu smiled, then came in front of Obito, pointing at Obito with a sharp look. Then this is the good boy you have taught. He deserted the battlefield and almost killed all his companions. I asked him to kneel at the entrance of the village for a day. Is there anything wrong with that? The Uchiha couple looked at their son in disbelief. They didn't expect him to do such a thing. Even Uchiha Kari stepped forward and kicked Uchiha Obito, who was kneeling on the ground, to the ground. Boy, you are confused. Uchiha Shogayu wanted to stop him, but when he thought of what Obito had done, he could only cry. Young man, thank you so much this time. We will kneel with Obito for another day. We misunderstood you this time. Dad? Uchiha Obito looked at his father miserably. His legs were no longer sensitive. If he knelt for another day, he would be useless. 2 days. Uchiha Kari looked at Obito expressionlessly, and then knelt down with Obito. Obito wanted to stop him, but when he saw the determination in Uchiha Kari's eyes, he had to smile helplessly. Then he left the gate. How come his family is full of loyal people, but there is a waste like Obito? Tianyu shook his head and disappeared on the spot. Chapter 545 Strange Road. In just 2 days, the whole village knew about Obito's family kneeling at the door. There were also Uchiha clansmen who wanted to stop it, but Uchiha Kairai refused directly. In the end, it was heard that Obito was carried out directly, which can be said to be very powerful. Tianyu naturally didn't know what happened later, because he had already walked out of Konoha village. After all, the purpose of this time was to relax himself. The things given by Yuhi Kurenai and Might Guy in the village were enough to digest for a while. Because of the existence of Sarutobi Hiruzen in the village, he especially hated staying here. He could only go out and take a look. It was just right to see how the 3 ninjas outside the village were doing now. Especially Tsunade. I don't know if Tsunade's appearance has changed from before so many years ago. When Tianyu thought of Tsunade, I don't know why, I felt a little disgusted, but also a little missed. This feeling is really a bit complicated. Tianyu shook his head with a wry smile, and then set out on the road to leave the village. Report, we found that Tianyu has left the village. At this time, in the office, when Tianyu just left, an Anbu appeared in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Go down. Yes. The Anbu disappeared on the spot, and Sarutobi Hiruzen's face also showed a faint smile. As he expected, if Tianyu said he was going to play, he would not stay in the village for a long time. The account himself did something big when Tianyu was not in the village. Come on, tell White Fang, Yuhi Shinku, and Mighty to come to my office. Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted, and then 3 Anbu disappeared upstairs in the office. It is obvious that Konoha village will change after Tianyu left. Haha, it seems that old man Sarutobi has really taken action, ha ha ha. At this time, after hearing the news from the root, Danzo couldn't help laughing in the root headquarters. As long as Sarutobi Hiruzen completes this plan, he is the existence of one person above 10,000 people. One day, I will kill Sarutobi Hiruzen and become the Hokage. When he thought of this, Shimura Danzo's laughter came from the whole hall, and it can be heard that Danzo is happy now. The 3 invited people also looked at the place with gloomy faces. When they saw each other, they could already guess what was going on. It seems that after so many years of silence, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but ask Yui and the older generation to take action. Haha, White Fang is so capable that he is qualified to come here. What a joke, Brother Zhenhuang is amazing. He has already endured this point. I admire him. Just when Konoha White Fang and Yuhi Zhenhuang were praising each other, they also looked at the kind-looking Might Guy next to them with caution. Don't be fooled by Might Guy's appearance because he looks so kind. He is simply a monster. When the village was in danger, one person directly blocked a small village. No one knows how he did it. But this also let everyone know that there is such a physical monster in Konoha. It is precisely because of this incident that my Dai is qualified to come here, right? Okay, let's go in, haha. My Dai laughed, and then walked into the Hokage's office with it too. Oh, it's really abominable, I don't know where this is. Tianyu has been walking in Shenlong for a while. He was very angry. After all, this place is too abominable. I don't know why he got lost. Really, there seems to be something strange here. Why is it always turning in circles? Tianyu was also very helpless. However, he used the 3 Magatama eyes, and there was no reaction. Is there really no one using illusion here? In this way, Tianyu wandered here for a while, and has been turning in one place for hundreds of times. It also made him a little irritable. Sure enough, there must be something wrong here, but you underestimated me. Tianyu sneered, then threw out countless small balls and snapped his fingers lightly. Boom! With a deafening sound, Tianyu walked out leisurely from the dust. At this time, the whole earth trembled, and a young man riding a bubble widened his eyes, unable to believe what he saw. Yugao. Tianyu sneered, obviously recognizing who the young man in front of him was. How do you know me? Yugao was obviously startled when he heard someone calling his name, and hurriedly stepped back a few steps, pulling away from Tianyu. Bubble. How could I not know the dignified Six-Tails Jinchuriki? Tianyu sneered, and then instantly appeared in front of Yugao and lifted Yugao up. Little guy, no matter who you are, you provoke me, you will die. Tianyu said, exuding a murderous aura that was as real as substance. It can be seen how many people Tianyu has killed to be able to condense such a terrifying murderous aura around his body. Brother, I'm sorry, I just want to test my ability, no harm. Yugao felt a breath of death and hurriedly apologized to Tianyu. Because he knew that if he didn't apologize, he might really die. Haha, okay, I'll spare you this time. If it happens again, I'll kill you. Tianyu didn't feel the murderous aura on Yugao, so he didn't kill him. If he had felt a little murderous aura on Yugao just now, Yugao would have died today. Of course, of course. Yugao felt himself falling from the air and hurriedly thanked him. Then he wanted to run away, but Tianyu stopped him. Aren't you the dead Six-Tailed Jinchuriki? How did you run away from the land of water? Yugao wanted to hide it, but after seeing Tianyu's eyes, he had to tell everything. It turned out that Yugao was a tailed beast Jinchuriki in the land of water, which was a great honor. But someone said that he was a demon and might go berserk at any time. This matter spread from 1 person to 10 to 100. It also caused Yugao's status to decline rapidly. In the end, it even reached the point where everyone was shouting and beating him like a rat crossing the street. It is precisely because of this that Yugao had to flee the water country and wandered all the way here, and now he encountered the devil Tianyu. Chapter 546 The Situation of the Uchiha Clan. You are amazing, this is the land of fire. Tianyu was also very helpless. He didn't expect that he would come here. I don't know if this kid is amazing or just lucky. Tianyu couldn't help but admire him, and he also understood why he went to the land of water. Yugao was not in the land of water, but was captured by Akatsuki directly. It made him understand. What? Yugao was a little overwhelmed when he heard that he had actually arrived in the land of fire, and looked around in panic. Hey, you should come with me, I'll take you home. Tianyu didn't know what was wrong, but he felt a little bored along the way. In addition, the tailed beast in Yugao's body made Tianyu feel a little friendly. He decided to take Yugao with him, so that the journey would be more interesting, and he didn't know if he was bored and fell asleep. Okay, then it's a deal. Yugao heard that the person in front of him agreed to take him back, and nodded quickly, following Tianyu closely. He is so strong, he will definitely take me home. Yugao now has only this idea in his mind, and looks at Tianyu firmly. Tianyu also smiled, and then put his hand on Yugao's belly. Now! Tianyu shouted softly, and Yugao fainted, and Tianyu also entered a strange space. Huh? No one has come here for a long time, you are not you boy. At this time, a guy with a disgusting appearance and mucus all over his body appeared in front of Tianyu. When Tianyu saw the monster in front of him, he was stunned for a moment and recognized him. Six-tailed Bubble, it's really the first time I've seen it. Hello, Tianyu, I'm really surprised that you really look like Zhang in the legend. Tianyu smiled and came under Bubble, not afraid of Bubble at all. Do you know my name? Originally, Bubba was about to get angry when he heard Tianyu laugh at his appearance, but who knew that he heard the other party shout out his name? Well, there are others too. The old guy Liudeo is also very good, and the name is good. Do you know the Outer Path demon statue? Tianyu sneered, and then looked at Bubba with a firm look. How did you know? Peo wanted to refuse. After all, this is the only weakness of their tailed beast. It seems that no one in the world knows its use except the people of the Six Paths era. How did Tianyu know this thing? Of course, it's good to know. Be careful in the future. Someone wants your life. Protect Yugao well. It can be regarded as you have a conscience. After Tianyu finished speaking, he disappeared in the tailed beast space. Peo was left with a face full of question marks. However, he also felt the terrifying breath in Tianyu's body, so he had to smile helplessly. Keep this matter in mind. If you encounter someone with the breath of a tailed beast in the future, you should let Yugao stay away. If you really accidentally encounter something strange, you will really become Yuzaiozi and offend people. At this time, Tianyu also returned to the outside world again and kicked Yugao, who was lying on the ground, to wake him up. Boy, come on, it's already late, get up quickly, we're leaving. Huh? Slurp, so tired. Yugao didn't understand why he fell asleep for no reason, but he still followed Tianyu obediently. He became Tianyu's follower. At this time in Konoha village, 2 days had passed, and Abrido and his wife returned to the clan with their son. Originally, the Uchiha clan leader wanted to find out what was going on. But the couple returned home and never came out again. Even if the clan leader went there alone, he didn't let the two of them come out. It seems that the two of them have suffered some kind of blow and don't intend to see outsiders at all. Damn it, you actually insulted my Uchiha clan like this, Sarutobi Hirozen, okay. At this time, the Uchiha clan leader laughed and then came to the Hokage's office. It's really ridiculous. I tried my best to protect the village from danger, and the security department is also working all the time. Now the Pisces couple is kneeling in the village for 2 whole days. It's really cruel. Sarutobi Hirozen, I want you to give me an explanation today. The Uchiha clan leader didn't even call him by his honorific title, but called him by his name. It can be seen how angry the Uchiha clan leader is now. Haha, take a look for yourself. If you still think there is no problem, tell me again. Please get out now. Sarutobi Hirozen seemed to have been prepared. He threw a document to the Uchiha clan leader and ordered him to leave. The Uchiha clan leader wanted to get angry. But after seeing the information in the document in his hand, his face changed drastically. He bowed to Sarutobi Hirozen and then left the office. This is the text version of the battle scene of the 3rd generation Raikage. When he saw Abido's performance, he couldn't help sweating on his forehead. Uchiha originally had some estrangement with Ki, so no one in Uchiha had ever been Hokage. Now there is another way to escape from the battlefield. Is he trying to drag Uchiha down? Fortunately, the couple had the mechanism to kneel at the door with their son for 3 days, otherwise it would not be him who questioned Sarutobi Hirozen. It was Sarutobi Hirozen who came to question him without any hesitation. The Uchiha clan leader then returned to the clan and told everyone not to tell anyone about this matter. So he stayed indoors, which surprised all the Uchiha clan members. It seems that this matter is really too complicated. Even the clan leader can't speak out to resist? At this time, Sarutobi Hirozen in the office didn't care about these Uchiha people at all. That is, there is a character like Uchiha Madara. In addition, with a higher talent, there are more Jonin in these years. Even the shadow level ones have not appeared, just some jumping clowns. There is no need to worry at all. Now his main concern is the older generation of ninjas who are on missions outside. As long as this plan is successful, the Uchiha and the Senju clan are all subordinate to his Sarutobi family. In the future, Sarutobi Hirozen will be one of the last powerful people in the world. Haha, ha ha ha. Sarutobi Hirozen couldn't help but burst into laughter in the office, and then looked at the photo of Tianyu in front of him with a gloomy face. After all the problems are solved, he must find a way to get rid of this kid. In this way, the last thorn in his side is completely removed. As long as Tianyu is alive, he will not be at peace. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 547 Tsunade's Whereabouts. At this time, in a small village in the Land of Fire, two teenagers were walking on the street, which made passers-by stop and look at them. Because the two were so strange. The two were like farmers who came to the city for the first time, and they were very curious about everything. Even Tianyu let go of his nature here. As long as there was something fun, he would go and have a look. And Yugao was even more so. He had basically been exposed to the best things in the Land of Water since he was a child. This kind of plain thing actually made him very interested. In this way, the two of them were like bumpkins coming to the city, which was very eye-catching. "You boy, can you be quieter? You are embarrassing me," the six-tailed fox, like this. At this time, Bubble was also very helpless. "How did I meet these two weirdos? It's okay to yell here. Can you not show your own characteristics and embarrass me?" "Ahem, that was our loss of composure, Yugao. Be quiet." Tianyu came to Yugao as if nothing had happened, and gave Yugao a big chestnut. Yugao's eyes were filled with tears, and he didn't understand why Tianyu wanted to hide him. "Okay, let's go see if there are any fat sheep here." "Really, I didn't expect to come to such a small place." Tianyu also came here because he had inquired about Tsunade along the way. Who knew that as soon as he got here, he encountered all kinds of strange things, which made him very curious. "Let's go, there is a casino in front, there should be something." Tianyu smiled, and then led everyone to the entrance of the casino. When Tianyu arrived at the entrance of the casino, his face changed and he looked at Yugao's abdomen. "Do you feel it?" "Well, a strong breath, it seems that there is a master inside." The sound of bubbles appeared in Tianyu's mind, and then disappeared again. "Yugao, you wait at the door, I just want to go in and take a look." Tianyu smiled, and then walked into the gambling house, leaving Yugao alone at the entrance of the gambling house. "Tisk, you don't want to play with me again, don't take me, I'll find something fun by myself." Yugao was a little angry at first, but suddenly saw the strange things around him, and got excited again, and ran away directly. Although Bubble also smiled bitterly, why did his Jinchuriki have such a childish mentality? But it was safe to stay away from here. Tianyu also walked into the gambling house at this time, but at a glance, he did not see Tsunade at all. "Isn't it here?" Tianyu was stunned for a moment, not understanding why there was nothing here. Could it be that Tsunade's information was all false, or was there a hidden gambling house here? Tianyu did not believe that if Tsunade appeared in this village, she would not come to this gambling house. As a guy addicted to gambling, he couldn't walk when he saw the gambling house. "Little brother, do you want to come and play? We are absolutely fair to the public." At this time, a man saw Tianyu coming in, and a smile appeared on his face, and he went up to grab Tianyu. Who knew that Tianyu's speed seemed very slow, but he just couldn't catch Tianyu. "Master." At this time, this person had only this one thought in his mind. "I just came here to find someone. Have you seen the big fat sheep of Konoha?" Tianyu smiled on his face, but for some reason, after the man saw Tianyu's expression, his body couldn't help shaking. "Yes, she's on our second floor. Do you want me to bring her down?" At this moment, in the man's mind, Tianyu was probably looking for Tsunade for revenge. After all, any ninja could find out Tsunade's name. But because of her poor gambling skills, she got such a humiliating title. Now a strong man like Tianyu is looking for Tsunade by name. Then it must be related to Tsunade. "No, I'll go up by myself, you do your thing." Tianyu directly rejected the man's kindness and wanted to go up, but who knew that the road was blocked by the man again? "Do you want to die?" Tianyu saw the man blocking his way again and again, and his face couldn't help showing a terrifying murderous intent. His tolerance was limited. If this guy kept touching his bottom line, then he would have to take action. "No, sir, we need financial amounts on the second floor. No matter how strong you are, you can't go up if you don't have enough property." At this time, sweat was already coming out of the man's face. If it weren't for the fact that he had a lot of power behind him, he would never have provoked Tianyu to death. "Oh? Then tell me, how much do you need?" The murderous aura that had burst out of Tianyu's body disappeared again between heaven and earth. Tianyu once again became the sunny boy. But anyone who had seen Tianyu's mighty power just now could know that this young man should not be judged by appearance. 50 million. As long as you have 50 million, I will never stop you. You can go up now. The man couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he heard that Tianyu retreated. He felt that he had just walked through the gates of hell. Wait a minute, I'll give it to you right away. When Tianyu heard 50 million, he couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. It seems that this gambling house is really not a simple force. Just going upstairs requires 50 million. It's really not simple. The man didn't quite understand what Tianyu meant by this sentence. What does it mean to give it to him later? And Tianyu was also very helpless. The money in his hands is for the future. Now for people of this era, it is counterfeit money. If he takes out these things himself, wouldn't he be regarded as a liar? Besides, don't you look at where this is? Since people are giving him money, how can he not take it? 666 leopard, 1 tael of silver. Tianyu threw out 1 tael of silver, and then Higuan looked at the man. Although the man didn't know what Tianyu wanted to do, he nodded and asked Higuan to open the goo first. Then Higuan was also very worried, because Tianyu was too confident. When he opened the stopper, he saw 3 sieves lying in the goo, with 3 bright 6s on them. Higuan couldn't help but suffocate. Tan didn't know that he had been on the scene for a long time and no numbers of this level had been opened. Fortunately, Tianyu only bet 1 tael of silver, and he shouldn't be in trouble. If he bet more, maybe tomorrow, his body will appear in the wilderness outside the village, right? Haha, give me the money, I have something else, I'm in a hurry. Tianyu stretched out his hand and said with a smile. Chapter 548, Kokuzu, the money-loving man. Then, at the man's signal, Higuan placed thousands of taels of silver in Tianyu's hands. Tianyu was a good man and did not bully Higuan. Otherwise, even if it was not Higuan's own fault, his hands shaking the dice would be enough to kill him 100 times. The man followed Tianyu all the way, thinking that he was just a simple strong man. No matter how strong he was, gambling required skills, and he was probably just a little bit lucky just now. Who knew that this matter would become more and more surprising to him, because Tianyu had won in nearly 27 million along the way. That is to say, Tianyu now started from scratch and directly pocketed tens of millions of taels of silver. How is it possible? Even if he is the god of gamblers, he can't win 100%, why does he win every time? The man looked at Tianyu in disbelief. After all, which gambling house has clean hands and is not cheating? That is the means of killing people and robbing treasures, which are not simple means. Who knew that it would become like this now, no matter how he asked Higuan to change the quantity or number? But no matter what, the numbers Tianyu said were true to their words, just like cheating. Unfortunately, he didn't have any evidence that Tianyu was cheating. The man himself was also a gambling king, so naturally he would have a lot of cheating methods. Even in this gambling house, he kept cheating, and after winning tens of millions, he wanted to leave. Unfortunately, as soon as he left the house, he was bet on by others and all his property was seized. Even he stayed here, guarding the first floor of the gambling house. You, big one. Tianyu finally returned to the starting point and threw all his chips directly on the big one. And Higuan also nodded to the man and directly activated the mechanism under his feet. Then he opened the goo with great confidence, hoping to see a small combination. Who knew that after opening it in the end, it was 3 6s again. If it weren't for Tianyu not betting on the leopard this time, this number might have bankrupted the entire casino. Impossible. Higuan's eyes were a little scattered, and he couldn't believe his eyes. After all, this was really surprising. I clearly felt that I had changed these numbers, why did they change back in the end? Tianyu smiled, he was at least the ancestor of the machine. These small things were in his hands, not even children's toys. They still wanted to use such vulgar things to trick me, these guys might really not know how to write death. Okay, 58 million, I wonder if I can go upstairs. Tianyu looked at the man with a smile. After hearing Tianyu's voice, the man came back to his senses and nodded quickly. Of course, please. The man saw Tianyu slowly walking upstairs, and a sinister smile appeared on his face. Haha, do you really think you can take this money away? Just wait, I will make you spit out even your bones. After the man finished speaking, he followed him upstairs, but the next moment he came to a room. Dong dong dong, come in. After the man knocked on the door, he stood at the door for a long time, and finally a hoarse voice came from inside the door. The man also quickly tidied his clothes and walked in. The whole room was not turned on at all. Even in the daytime, There was no light inside because there was no room. Indistinctly, only one person's face could be seen in it. If Tianyu was here, he might recognize him. Isn't this the first S-level figure in Tianyu's trip, the first member of the Akatsuki organization hunted down, Engel? I didn't expect that this gambling house was actually founded by Engel. What do you want to see me for? Engel didn't even raise his head, and asked with his head down. After all, it was him who caught this man back, and since then this guy has been scared out of his wits. From then on, the man never dared to be presumptuous in front of him again. Sir, just now someone won a huge sum of 60 million in our gambling house. I don't know what to do. Click. Engel couldn't help but drop the pen in his hand, raised his head and burst out with murderous aura. Everyone in the world should know that Engel loves money, and it has even reached a pathological level. No one can take a dime from him, except that crazy woman Xianan. Even the heads of some peerless masters were nothing more than money in his eyes. Who would have known that today, someone would have the guts to take away the huge sum of 60 million from under his hands? Who gave him this order? Didn't he know that he was the one who fought against the first generation of Hokage and was able to survive? Why didn't you stop him? Engel didn't go out to find Tianyu at the first time, but looked at the man coldly. As a cheat, the man's luck is not simple. If it weren't for the man's carelessness at the beginning, even their gambling house couldn't find any flaws. Now the man actually told that someone won so much money under his nose. Could it be that this person also participated in it? My lord, I really can't see this person's method, otherwise I would definitely stop him with all my strength. The man also saw the terrifying smile in Engel's eyes at this time. If he didn't say something, he might become Kakuzu's next heart. Okay, I know. You go out first. Follow this guy closely. I'll go out right away. Kakuzu couldn't help but let out a breath, and then drove the man out. The man couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Kakuzu didn't get angry, otherwise he would have died today. At this time, Tianyu had already arrived at the second floor. Looking around, he saw Tsunade's shadow at the first time. At this time, Tsunade was followed by a little girl. It can be seen at a glance that this is Shizune from decades ago. But what surprised Tianyu the most was that Tsunade's appearance had not changed at all. This also made Tianyu couldn't help but sigh at Tsunade's awesomeness. It was able to appear in the future without any changes after decades. If it weren't for being familiar with Tsunade, maybe Tianyu would think that this guy was a monster. He walked between heaven and earth with the identity of Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, let's not play anymore. If we play, our living expenses will be gone. Although Shizune was still young at this time, she was also doing the work of decades later, that is, trying to stop Tsunade from gambling. Chapter 549, Big Gamble. But Tsunade didn't seem to like Shizune very much. She snorted coldly. HMPH, you don't have to worry about my business. Hurry up and give me the money. If you say one more word, I will definitely make my money back. Shizune looked at Tsunade like this and smiled helplessly. Lady Tsunade is good in everything, but this is what Shizune can't accept the most. If it weren't for the fact that the Senju clan knew Tsunade's temperament very well, there would be no way that Shizune would watch over Tsunade to prevent her from getting into trouble. Haha, you really don't have any skills. You are really a fat sheep. Tianyu sat beside Tsunade and gently placed his hands on the table. Haha, who are you? Who said I am a fat sheep? It's because I don't have luck, okay? Tsunade shouted angrily, and then subconsciously wanted to attack. Lady Tsunade. Fortunately, Shizune shouted at the right time, otherwise it is really unclear what Tianyu would do. HMPH, it's because the gambling house can't do it. I will definitely beat you to death today. Tsunade looked at Tianyu threateningly, and then wanted to continue gambling. Who knew that when Higuan saw Tianyu coming, he couldn't help but put his hand down and looked at Tianyu awkwardly. Why don't you move? Hurry up. Tsunade was obviously a little anxious, as if she wanted to quickly get her money out, very anxious. But Tsunade-sama, we can't move now. Although Higuan wanted to explain, he stopped his hand just as he saw Tianyu. After seeing Higuan like this, Tianyu knew that his story had been passed from the first floor to here. He is really famous. Has he already had such a reputation in just 1 hour? Why? You are open now, don't you want to do business? Yes, now that the gentleman next to you is here, we won't do business. At this time, the man came behind Tsunade and looked at her with an embarrassed face. After all, Tianyu's method is really amazing. It's like exterminating a family, not giving them any chance at all. Otherwise, they wouldn't do such a thing. Why? At this time, Tsunade also felt the mystery of the matter, and looked at Tianyu strangely. What on earth was the reason that caused the gambling house to stop operating? Look, isn't this the god who just won 57 million on the first floor? He started from scratch with $1 and won 57 million directly. It's terrifying. Someone suddenly recognized Tianyu and couldn't help but exclaimed. I didn't expect this person to be so bold. He won so much money, not only did he not leave, but he even wanted to win? They all felt that it was a pity for this kid. If he could win so much money, he could learn from him if he went out. Now he is greedy and wants to win another sum. That's simply asking for his life, which is really ridiculous. Tianyu sneered, and then looked at the man in front of him coldly. Can't you bear 57 million? It seems that the person behind you is not simple, otherwise call it out and let me see it. 57 million. Tsunade opened her mouth wide, and her eyes changed when she looked at Tianyu, as if it was a treasure pot. Although she is addicted to gambling, she is not a boy who spends money. Who doesn't want to win a sum of money, if she can learn from this kid? When she thought of this, Tsunade's eyes lit up, and she looked at Tianyu greedily. Her chance was coming. Haha, you will see my lord's people soon. Do you think you can take 57 million from my gambling house just like that? The man at this time no longer concealed his thoughts. After all, 57 million was a matter of great importance. If he let Tianyu go this time, he would not be able to see the sun tomorrow. Tianyu didn't care. When he saw the black lines on the man's arm, he had already guessed who was behind it. But he didn't say anything. Anyway, he would see it soon, just in time to meet an old acquaintance. If you don't want to play, then don't play. Tsunade, I don't know why you don't go back to the village. Tianyu looked at Tsunade with a smile. Who knew that after Tsunade heard this, her face changed drastically and she quickly stepped back. Sure enough, this guy was from Konoha village. It must be those old guys who wanted to go back by themselves. But are those old guys confused because of their old age? They actually sent such a young guy. Are they confused? I won't go back. If you dare to ask me to go back, I will beat you to pulp. Tsunade quickly pulled Shizune back and looked at Tianyu cautiously. He was really used to staying in the village. It was all about intrigues and deceptions. Once he went back, there would be this plan and that plan. He had a headache just by listening to it, so he escaped when no one was paying attention. He hadn't been back for a long time. I didn't say I was here to pick you up. What are you afraid of? But Konoha is in danger. If you want to go, it's up to you. Tianyu originally wanted Tsunade to go back. After all, didn't Tsunade's lover die in this chaos? But seeing Tsunade like this, he didn't know what emotion she was feeling. Tianyu didn't even want to say it out. Tianyu patted his head, then looked coldly at the door of a room, and shouted loudly. Old Kokuzu, I'm here, and you still want to be a coward? Come out and see me. In fact, Tianyu was also very confused. After all, Akatsuki has only become an evil organization in recent years. Why is Kokuzu here now? I hope it's not Akatsuki. Crack. A foot stepped out of the door, and a black-bottomed red cloud robe also caught Tianyu's eyes. Why? Tianyu's eyes were full of doubts. Why did Akatsuki appear in this era? Could it be that Akatsuki has also returned? Boy, you're in trouble. This is Kokuzu, a member of the mercenary group Akatsuki. You're in trouble. The man shouted on the side, as if he saw the angle and saw the backbone, and he was so excited. Mercenary group. Tianyu was a little confused now. He looked at the angle in surprise and finally came to a conclusion. This is the future at the beginning, but it is not the future at the beginning. It may be a parallel world. Everything here is not going on the same as the future at the beginning. Just like the angle, this is the difference between this parallel world. Akatsuki has become a mercenary group in this world, not an evil organization with heinous crimes. And in this era, members of Akatsuki already exist in this world. It must be like this. Chapter 550 Konoha's Running Dog. When Tianyu thought of this, he didn't know why a smile appeared on his face. If things were really like this, then it would be easy to deal with. No matter what he did in the future, he shouldn't have to worry too much about anything. Anyway, they were all parallel worlds, so he had to let go of himself. Boy, you are very strong. Angle just came out, and when he saw Tianyu, his face couldn't help but change. Because he could see that the aura emanating from Tianyu at this time was a little stronger than his. You are also very strong. Tianyu also smiled, and didn't even look at Angle. Boy, I'm giving you face, right? Lord Angle is here now, and you still have this attitude. Originally, the man wanted to flatter him. Who knew that this time he might have hit the horse's leg? Pa. A crisp sound echoed throughout the room, and the man looked at Angle in surprise. He didn't understand why he was defending the dignity of the adults, and why the adults wanted to hit him. Idiot, shut up. Angle looked at the man with a gloomy face, and then looked at Tianyu with a smile. Little brother, how about this? Hand over the money you won and I will forgive you. How about that? Angle didn't want to cause trouble, especially this kind of strong man. He was still quite afraid. He just wanted to try his best to maintain his small business. If Tianyu really took action, the attack fluctuations of the two people would destroy this gambling house where he made money. Haha, what a joke. Why should I give you the money I earned with my own ability? Tianyu sneered. Sure enough, Angle was still so shameless, but there was no change in his love for talent. Everyone was very surprised at first. It was a bit unclear why Angle was so polite to Tianyu. Could it be that Tianyu was a member of a big family? What surprised people even more was probably what Tianyu said just now. Angle was already like this, giving him such a big step, but now he was still asking for more. Want to take all the money away? Angle was obviously a little surprised. He couldn't believe that this guy actually dared to resist him. After all, he was also an old ninja. Could it be that he really couldn't beat a kid like you? Young man, a snake can't swallow an elephant. I'll give you one more chance. Let go. Angle shouted loudly, and then his Tiantian robe fluttered, revealing his looming terrifying body. Then let's fight. Tianyu didn't waste any words, sneered, and then appeared in front of Angle, and punched him, knocking Angle out. How terrifying. This is the fighting power of a young man. After seeing Tianyu's moving speed, everyone took a breath and couldn't believe their eyes. And the one who felt it most clearly was probably Kokuzu. After all, he really didn't react at all just now, and then the whole person flew out. So strong. Now in Kokuzu's heart, there is such a feeling, and then he looked at the kid in front of him with a serious face. Sure enough, he must be from Konoha to find me, liar. Tsunade looked at Tianyu angrily, and he said, how could a kid stand in front of him so confidently? Such a strong strength, this is not the fighting power that a young man should have. Stop. Tsunade shouted delicately, and then came in front of Tianyu. Okay, stop it, let's go. Tsunade said, and then pulled up Tianyu's hand without hesitation, and then left the casino. And Kokuzu didn't know why, but he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Because he really felt a breath of death just now. If he continued to fight, he didn't think he could really beat that monster boy just now. Okay, let's just let it go, and the casino will continue to operate as usual. Kokuzu adjusted his breathing, turned his head and said to the man, and then left the casino. Now that such a monster has appeared in the ninja world, we must tell the team leader. Otherwise, when they are on a mission in the future, who is blind enough to provoke this person? Maybe their organization will also suffer. At this time, Tianyu, who left with Tsunade, was enjoying the feeling of soft jade in his palm. Then he felt that this feeling disappeared, and it turned out that Tsunade had let go of her hand. Do you know how reckless you were just now? Leave quickly and tell the old monsters in the village that I will not go back. After Tsunade said this, she wanted to leave with Shizune. After Tianyu heard what Tsunade said, he couldn't help crying and laughing. It seems that Tsunade, this little girl, really misunderstood him. He is really not the old man's man. Brother, I finally found you. I thought you were in danger. Just when Tsunade was about to leave, she suddenly heard a cry of pain. At this time, a person was holding Tianyu's legs, crying and wiping all the tears at Tianyu's feet. Isn't this person Yugao, who was still at the door of Tianyu? Yugao just came back and felt the explosion in the gambling house, so he rushed over. After seeing Tianyu like this, he was relieved, and this happened. Get out, dirty or not. Tianyu kicked Yugao out with one foot, and looked at Yugao, who was sitting on the ground and laughing with disdain. I don't know why, Tianyu suddenly felt that this guy was still quite cute. Although his brain is a little bad, he can still be trained well. Looking at his appearance, he is also a handsome man. Maybe he can cultivate himself into a handsome man. At this time, Tsunade exclaimed, "Hey, isn't this the six-tails Jinchuriki? How come he is here with you? Who are you?" Yu-Gi-Oh was originally in a state of tears and snot. But suddenly he heard someone reveal his identity, and looked at Tsunade in front of him nervously. Could it be that the people of the Land of Water knew that he had escaped, so they sent people to catch him? Just like that, Tsunade and Yu-Gi-Oh both had the same idea, looking at each other nervously, fearing that they would be caught by the other party. I said, "I'm not someone who is going to catch you. I just took the little guy out for a stroll and took a look at the majesty of the three ninjas. Before you leave, I'll give you a piece of advice. Go back to the village." Tianyu didn't want to talk nonsense with Tsunade. This was not that Tsunade knew, so Tianyu didn't want to say anything more, and then pulled Yu-Gi-Oh together and left here. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.